Hello, hello. How is everyone? Hey, Unitopia. Hey, Trippin' Gauntlet. Ginger Lee. Hey, Angela Goodness. How are you? Ruth Carroll. Right Quick. 1019. Hey, Jilly. I'm doing great. I hope you're doing well. I hate peas. How are you doing? Y'all, it has been one of those days where it's like, oh shit, it's 2 o'clock. What am I doing? I've been trying to get stuff ready. Y'all, this is a doozy. This is a doozy. I'm going to try to get through it. We're going to get through this together, okay? Hey, Tie-Dye Gammy. How are you? Kayla Kitty. I'm trying to go back up through chat. Yes, her hearing, the pretrial hearing is Monday. And I don't know if y'all read, there was a filing that happened 2 days ago. I needed yesterday. Well, I had a bunch of stuff I had going on yesterday, and so I needed to kind of really sit down and look at it all. And oh my gosh. Hey, SD, is sick of the snow? Are you? It's gorgeous here today. I'm sorry, y'all. Those of you having really bad weather, it is beautiful here. I try not to rub it in. Hey, Misty Maternack, how are you? I know I say your name wrong. I know I'd have to. There's two Misties in here. So, and I'd call y'all one Misty M or the other one Misty M, but both of y'all are Misty M's. Mary Winchester, good to see you. Sweet Pea, Ozzy Boy, Camping Mama. Very good, Angela Goodness. Hey, Bean. You need the 411, y'all. I'm telling you, it's windy and beautiful there. Unitopia, yeah, it's pretty windy here, but actually, I'm looking out the window right now. It's pretty still. We're up high, we're up on a hill kind of, and so we get heavy winds up here. Third round since Saturday. So you're getting snow. Like I know the difference. I'm like, to me, when it's cold, like usually here in Texas, we just get ice. We don't really get snow. It just gets icy and it's just yuck, right? And then we always have all kinds of issues because we're not prepped for it here. Anybody that's from Texas knows, especially if you've lived in Texas and like been anywhere up north or have family up north, whatever it may be, we're not prepped for it here. So when we get like freezing temperatures, I mean, we could be screwed because all of our electrical is above ground, all of our plumbing needs to be, wrapped and all that. So, anyways, you do throw everybody off. Two Misties in here. It's hella snow in there, huh, Misty Mo? Hey, Donna. Did I already say hi to you? I don't even recall. Yeah, I'm telling you, my brain is, imagine this. My brain is mush. Imagine that, right? So, yeah, I'm just, y'all, so her hearing is Monday for the pretrial hearing. Keep in mind, what we have to remember is that on December 31st, there was a hearing. Both parties filed motions. They were both basically, both were filing sanctions, filed a motion for sanctions on either party. Katie Joy, in addition to the sanctions, requested that the courts take away the attorney's eyes only privilege on discovery, which, we'll see if that happens. I find it unlikely, but, what do I know? And she also wants the depositions to be made public for whatever reason. So we still have to see a ruling on that. And that's what I was thinking we were going to see first. I really wasn't paying attention to like, oh yeah, in the last ruling, which was they ruled on Katie Joy's motion to reconsider summary judgment because, as we know, as it looks, this thing's heading to trial because Katie Joy did not get her way in summary judgment, as we know. You can't wait to hear how Monday goes, huh, Kayla Kitty? Me neither. And from what I understand, nobody's going to be there at this point that we know of, but we can get the transcripts. They're super expensive, but usually we can tell how these things go from the, the filings that come out. On Monday, they have to be present. So, and we're going to you're going to see kind of things that Katie Joy was talking about that. They have to be present. Katie Joy is saying, oh, they're not going to show up. I'm going to win this. Hey, Irish, how are you? Good to see you, my friend. Better with the Irish. This changes everything, Bean. You'll see, y'all. This is, y'all. I'm reading through this and I'm like, holy shit. Okay, so where we're at right now, where this stands is we're waiting on the rulings from the hearing that was on December 31st. Prior to that, as we know, Katie Joy filed a motion to reconsider summary judgment, and it didn't go in her favor. Basically, what the judge said was, you know, I can't really say one way or the other whether this needs to go to the jury or if I'm going to grant this a summary judgment for a lot of these statements, because a lot of these statements were made during a live stream or a very long post, and 7M, Amber Stavig, their attorney, paraphrased a lot of it, right? I mean, it was just very, it was broken down. And Katie Joy's like, I don't know. I don't know which one they're trying to talk about. I don't know what they're saying that I said in that hour-long thing that was defamatory. So in that order, the judge is like, okay, you're right. I went through it and I don't know exactly what part of this is defamatory. So I'm going to allow, well, she didn't say I'm going to allow. Don't quote me on that. Basically, through Minnesota Courts of Civil Procedures, they can go back and file an amended complaint. Basically, they can make an amended complaint and then request the courts to grant it, right? So basically saying, okay, fine. Yeah, this is a little ambiguous, but 7M, we're going to offer you the right to go back and amend it. And y'all, if we thought it was bad before, it was nothing. And I'm not saying that to be dramatic. Hey, Mary Winchester. So KJ thinks he spent all this time and money. Yeah, she did. That he's not going to show up. Like, he spent all this time and money and efforts. He's not going to show up. Hey, sis Kate. So glad you're here. Good to see you. So this change, y'all, okay, again, 7M, they just filed. So they filed a motion for an amended complaint, right? So first we're going to look at what, they filed their motion. I got to share the screen here. Hold on, y'all. Ugh. I swear. Why? Why is it every single time I struggle so bad with this? And then as I'm like, what's going on here? As I was logging in, I had all these things that hold on. I don't like the way that looks. Well, let me stop sharing. Let me try something different. La, la, la. So basically 7M files a motion supporting their motion to file. Oh my gosh, y'all. What did I do? I was so there. And then I lost myself. As always, once I get in the groove of it, we'll be good. So Katie Joy, 7M files a memorandum of law in support of their motion to amend complaint, right? And then as an attachment to that, as an exhibit to that, is their actual amended complaint, right? It does seem that her goose is cooked. I'm not going to lie. Y'all, when you look at it this way, and we're going to try to go through it all. And look, okay, so the original complaint was, 83 statements or something? This new one is like over 200. So not only do they go back and really, really refine all this stuff from the original complaint, they added a lot of statements that Katie Joy has said since she was sued. Y'all, it's good. This is not good for her. She has been silent. In fact, I was talking to someone the other day, and I was just the day that these filings came out that morning. We were like, she's awfully quiet. I wonder what's going on. And I was like, I don't know. I bet you there's been a filing. And I really wasn't. I don't know why. Like, I really wasn't looking for this amended complaint. You're welcome, Jolene. It's been. I read it all yesterday. I cross-referenced everything because. So we have the original complaint, then we have this amended complaint. This amended complaint is hold on, let me look it up on my phone real quick because it is this amended complaint is 89 pages. Okay. The original one that the original complaint was served. She was served on April 5th of 2022. Then they made their first amendment, which was April 7th of 2022, which added Miranda and James as plaintiffs, right? That one is 24 pages. But this new one is 89. What does that tell y'all? Oh, I'm roboting. Am I still roboting? Shit. Let me see. It says that my signal's a little bit better than it was. Let me unplug this. This I know is worse. So let me plug this back in. Okay, it sounds fun to you? No, it's not. It's not a lot. Okay. Was that better? Let me know. If it gets to where you can't hear me, just put a stop sign in the chat because I don't think I have any mods in here right now. If they are, they're in the bushes, and I can't always read the chat because not on your end. Okay. So we're not even going to look at this really. We'll go through it very briefly because we're going to spend all the time on this amended complaint, right? But I have to show you what's filed, right? So we, have an idea of everything. So, y'all, I hate this laptop so bad. I just want to throw it through the fucking window. Okay. The plaintiff's memorandum of law in support of their motion to amend complaint, right? So basically, as we go through here, it's just saying, why. Okay, this is a statement of facts. That she was served on April 5th of 2022. Then, just like I said, then then it was amended on April 7th, adding Miranda and James as plaintiffs. And she's basically saying here that plaintiffs may move to amend their complaint pursuant to the Minnesota Civil Procedure 1501, and that they propose a second amended complaint. It clarifies and specifies the allegedly defamatory statements, including the content of the statements, the speakers, and the context in which the statements were made. So this one really breaks it down to where before it was just very, it just kind of had a paraphrase, right? And then, hey, Miranda, it just had a paraphrase of what they consider defamatory. Now, as it shows here, it says that they're including who spoke it, the context, when in that, let's say it was a YouTube video, they give the timestamps, right? And it's saying that their argument is that the amendment is basically, which I find this so funny, y'all. They're basically saying, well, we're doing this because the judge prompted us to, this court prompted us to, which I find hilarious because it's like, yeah, sure, go ahead and do this. And then 7M's like, hell yeah, okay, good. We're doing it, right? And so they're kind of throwing it back on the court, which I'm not throwing it back on the court, but it's hilarious because they're definitely pointing out that that this was expressly contemplated in the court's December 16th, 2025 order. It is timely, it is not futile, and it will not result in undue delay or prejudice to defendants. So the rest of this memorandum is just arguing those by saying, basically, I'm not even going to read this because we've got so much to cover, y'all. But as you can see, here they're saying that plaintiff's motion is therefore supported by good cause and brought in direct response to the court's directive, which I just find so funny. It will not result in undue delay, which a lot of people were asking, is this going to cause a delay in this? And I don't think it's going to cause a big delay in this. Again, we still have to see rulings on these, ruling on these last motions from this hearing that was on December 31st. We'll also be seeing a new scheduling order. That's going to tell us a lot when we see this new scheduling order. Hold on, I got a cough. Whew. Don't know where that came from. So we don't know what this new scheduling order is going to be, but I have a feeling this judge is going to be boom, 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 and we're going to start to see like new deadlines. I know that they're going to have another stipulation to have to try to come to some type of agreement. After reading this, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and just put that up on the hold on. I'm just going to go ahead and put this up on the screen so we can start going through it. Because y'all, it's like I said, it's a lot. And not only that, it's so much reading. We'll skim through a lot of it because I think, hey, Frisco Chicken, how are you doing? I think a lot of us know the things that she said early on, but these are some reminders. And what I did today, and what I lost track of time was, I actually went back and found a lot of the clips that support these newly. They're not new statements that they're including, right? You'll see. Let me just show you before I carry on. So let me share screen. Here's the amended complaint. Okay. Let me see. I don't think that's going to do it. I'm guessing y'all can see that. Okay, so as you can see, it's 89 pages. Y'all, I hate this laptop. Have I told you that today? How much I hate this? Okay, so it's 89 pages. Once I get on in a groove, we'll be good to go. So, yeah, I don't know where it went. Okay. All right. I'm just trying to get us to where I can read it on both. My eyes are so bad, and I know I keep telling y'all that I'm like, I don't want to get my eyes checked. I don't know why I refuse. Anybody else done that? They're like, I don't want to get my eyes checked because then it really means that I'm old. Okay, so I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready here, y'all. I think I've got it. Okay, so let's see. This first part is okay. Everybody good? All right, I'm good now. All right, I got this together. So this first part is no different. This is exactly as it was in the original complaint. Okay. It's just a second amended summons. It's the same thing it said in the very beginning one. They haven't changed anything. You are being sued. You must reply, blah, blah. So if the judge grants this and says, yes, I'm going to allow you to, this amended complaint is going to be the new go-to. Like, this is what Katie Joy has to abide by. Like, yes, this is granted. Then Katie's going to have to answer, right? And so, Y'all. Okay. All right. So again, all this, it's funny to me because like the factual background, it says that Katie had all these, if y'all remember from the original complaint, it says like Katie had all these accounts. We know that the first one is hers, but like Colt's Yuck, exposing 7M, those are not her, obviously. I don't know why they didn't amend that when they did this. Right? Like we know that exposing 7M is not her. Colt's Yuck is not her. They don't have stop colting in there, which is funny. So again, all of this is the same. Okay, what we're going to just jump into is the social media posts disparaging plaintiffs. Now, like for instance, in the first one they would have shown, right here, what they would have shown that first time was very vague. It was very vague, and I can pull it up. But let me do that. Just to kind of give you a way. Let me pull it up on my phone and just read the original amended complaint and what it said, because I've got it right here. So, like, for instance, on this one where it says 2/27/2022, here, the new one says, and they tagged, at Miranda Derrick has allegedly cut off contact with everyone in her life and lives inside a gated home. She is not contacting anyone from her life. 7M is likely associated with the 7M mountains of influence. This is a damaging and anti-biblical movement. Okay, so the original, you can see here what it says. The original one says Miranda Derrick was lured into a church. 7M. 7M is associated with the 7M mountains of influence. 7M believes they need to take over all spheres of the world for Christ to return to the earth. The M in 7M stands for Mountains of Influence, a Pentecostal belief to take over the world, among others. Please see proof for specifics. So you see the difference here. That what I just read was the original. This is the direction they're taking. Now, again, this went from 80 something to over 200 statements. Oh, I guarantee you she's drinking the Spanish Red right now, Unitopia. Hey, Dash X. Oh, Dash, have you read this yet? It's bad for her. It's not going to be good for her. Let's just put it that way. All right. So then what they did is they really cleaned it up. And basically what they're doing is they're giving 7M this opportunity to go in here and really, really clean things up. So I went through and I put some stars because these are just the very beginning. So we all remember whenever she was the very first post that Katie Joy ever put out about this was one where Miranda was dancing and she's like, this is Miranda Derrick. She's been lured into a cult. She's totally, she has no communication with her family. She's cut off all ties. She's in this cult. She needs to be saved. Her parents and her sister are freaking out, right? Remember all that, right? Okay. So when it comes to the amended document, they did not add anything before what was in the original complaint. Here in this part, okay, they went from February of 2022 up until she was sued in April of 2022. That was in the original complaint. So now they've gone back, and for all of those statements, they cleaned them all up. Those were those 80-something statements. They cleaned all those up, right? And don't quote me on the exact numbers because later on through summary judgment, some statements were added, some were taken out. Remember all that? But nonetheless, just kind of a roundabout, the original statements were from February to April of 2022. So they've gone and they've cleaned those up. You saw, I just gave the example of kind of how they did that. And now they've added stuff since then. But we're going to go back and we're going to kind of get a refresher on some of these, right? So for instance, here's one on March 1st of 2022. And And this is them really breaking it down for y'all. You can just see how bad this is going to be for Katie. You can just see how bad this is going to be for Katie. Cockroaches everywhere offended by this comment. What, that she's a cockroach? Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes cockroaches are better than Katie Joy. So on March 1st of 2022, Katie Joy made a post on Instagram. No. This was a live stream, because see here how they now have gone in and they've put in the timestamps for the statements, for the exact statements within this drunken live that Katie Joy did. This one might not have been drunken live. I've got, whenever you see what I did here where it says overlay, that means I have an example of the clip. Okay. So, what she did this live, and I'm just kind of read this, and I'm sure some of you that have been around this whole time, you'll remember exactly what live this is. Then I'll put up the overlay. I cover a lot of cults, and I'm pretty familiar with how cults work, and I'm pretty schooled about all the tactics that they use. So they wanted to put that statement in, along with, I also want to encourage people to speak out. Okay, this was not a drunken live. This was one during the day. It sounds like what is happening here is illegal, and the information I'm receiving is making me feel like human trafficking is happening, and that concerns me. Y'all, that concerns her, y'all. Poor Katie. Sorry that concerns you. Anyone can sue anyone, and I'm not afraid of that. I've been sued. Cults sue people all the time. Miranda, I was told by someone today that collabed with her recently, was not allowed to be alone. Okay, so this was the very beginning, and she was a little more careful with the words back then. So let me go here. This is going to be 1 minute and 26 seconds. Most of them aren't this long. Here's a reminder from that live, y'all. This is what she said in that live. I can't talk during it because it's an overlay, but this is in direct correlation with what they just cleaned up. This is one of the statements they want the jury to see.
But it sounds like what's happening here is illegal. And the information I'm receiving is making me feel like human trafficking is happening. And that concerns me. I have had quite a few conversations with people that know Miranda, I'm sorry. I could get a slander lawsuit. Well, I can report what I find, and the only way you can be sued is if you aren't telling the truth and you maliciously spread false information. But anyone can sue anyone, and I am not afraid of that. I have been sued. That's not, cults sue people all the time. But Miranda, I was told by someone today that collabed with her recently, was not allowed to be alone. So she showed up and she had eyes on her the whole time. And she was not allowed to be by herself. And when B-Dash was supposed to collaborate with someone, he apparently brought Miranda completely unprompted, last minute. And I was told had his eyes on Miranda the entire time.
So, you can hear me, right? So, yeah, God, her nails. I mean, her voice is like nails on a chalkboard, is it not? This one wasn't a drunken live. This one was actually during the day. And yes, the amount of work they put into this, it's incredible. So she is so smug. So this is the very beginning, and you can see the difference. Like there, she's kind of like, yeah, I mean, is she making accusations? Sure. As you see, as this goes on, y'all, oh my word, like that. So she kind of goes on, and like even here it says, so there hasn't been any evidence of any physical abuse going on, but I feel like what they're dealing with right now is psychological abuse, being very controlled. And this is what they made the lawsuit on, y'all. This is what they based their lawsuit on. You know, the stuff that she said more recently, right? She did a post on Instagram that said Miranda's being watched, people are driving her, and she's acting, quote unquote, off. All eyes are always on her. And when the dancers are out, they're being monitored by the management. And this was her kind of, yes, the court gets to watch all of these videos, and these are nothing compared to what she's done recently. And I'm trying to skip through this quickly so we can get to that part, because again, there are so many, y'all. So this was on the 1st of March. Look how many she did that day. Okay. On the 2nd of March, it was another live stream, and she's like, I'm hopeful at some point we can get more exposure for the story. She says, the one thing, you guys, that really concerns me with this group is that I think every single one of these marriages is fake. The reason why I think the marriages are fake is because Miranda and B-Dash have provided different stories for their wedding. And we've talked about this before, that's going to get her, because this has been absolutely proven, y'all. This has been proven that they are in fact married. And that Katie, not only did they prove that they were married, Katie Joy took their marriage license out of that was provided in Discovery and put it out on her socials. The gold star is just to keep me in check, to go through. These are the key points that I wanted to kind of go through and touch on as I go through, because there's so many, y'all. So many. So that was one I wanted to touch on. What is the date on this one? On the 3rd. Like, here's another one we'll just touch on. Y'all. Okay, hold on. I think one thing I want to make clear is that I'm sure, hold on, let me move this up for me. I'm sure what's happening is that, Denise, thank you so much. KJ's grammars and words. Thank you so much for your super chat. KJ's grammar and words are not professional at all. Pretty sure it sounds like no professional. What I'm telling you, and then also, like, whenever you go back and you start, of course I do it too, so I can't knock her. Like, I got my words get tied up because I'm trying to read like 7 different things at one time, different screens and stuff. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much for your super chat. Hey, Bobby, just glad you're here. It's okay, you're late. We're just catching up on this. And again, for anybody else that's coming in, it's probably a good time for me to. 7M just filed an amended complaint. Now, this still has to be approved by the judge to be submitted and be allowed. And then, what Katie will have to, what the jury will look at, these new statements. But what they did is they went back and, man, not only did they clean up everything before, because let's say Katie Joy did an hour and a half live, and 7M said, they paraphrased what she said in that whole live. But the judge was like, yeah, I can't really, because Katie's like, well, I don't know what she's talking about exactly that I said. So the judge is like, okay, 7M, you can amend it, and you can pick out, you need to say exactly what phrases you consider are defamatory. And again, this started in February of 2022. She upped her game when the docuseries came out, because she thought that was going to clear her. She never thought it would get this far, y'all. Hey, Sandy. She never thought it would get this far, y'all. And then when he was rated, it really amped up. That's one reason why I have these stars here, so I can just kind of go through real quickly and remind you of the things that she said back then. Again, this is all March of 2022. You can see how they've gone in here. They've added all the hashtags in here, because remember how the judge said in that one order that hashtags are considered, like, just because they're hashtags doesn't separate it from the post. So if she puts in here, did she put in this one, sex trafficking or trafficking? Free Miranda. Okay, I think they're going to have an issue with that. Free Miranda is going to be one. Anything to do with trafficking. So they're putting the hashtags in here now. And then you could see, like with some of the ones that I just went through, they actually put the timestamps, like for instance, right here on a YouTube video. So on March 4th of 2022, Katie Joy did a YouTube video. Here was an Instagram reel that was deleted, so they made sure to put that in there. They put all of the links, right? Now, remember, there were those issues with the links and not being able to be accessed, but they've got it all under control, y'all. And when you start reading this, and if this would have been the original complaint, it kind of makes you go, how did the first one even get so far? Because the way that this one is written, oh my gosh. It is. Oh, you want to come clean for me too? I was supposed to be doing that today and I got caught up doing this. Listen while you clean. So, again, all these statements, I'm just going to kind of scroll through till I get another one that I kind of tagged myself or anything that shows me that I wanted to point it out. But again, this was a YouTube video on March 4th. And then on March 4th, she also was on Instagram. So that means she went in Instagram Live, because you can tell here because they put the timestamps. She actually says, and this I think is going to be one of the things that kind of bites her in the ass too. My reels, and she says this within the video, her live stream. My reels about Miranda are getting 100,000 plus views on Instagram. So very early on, this is before she was sued. She's basically saying, yeah, look at, she says this, but later on, if y'all remember, she goes, oh, I don't make any money off of my Miranda stuff. Early on, she was saying she didn't. So at this point, at this stage, she at one point tries to say that she wasn't making any money at this stage. Bullshit. Why even bring up that you're getting over 100,000 views per post? Her reels. Can the Instagram saying deleted get Katie in trouble? Possibly for deleting evidence. But see, what she did is a lot of them are on Instagram. And if you're familiar with Instagram, I know some people aren't, so I'll go ahead and just explain it. On Instagram, if you put something in your Instagram reels or your Instagram stories or your reels, right? It plays it for what, 24 hours? And if I'm saying this wrong, correct me, please, because I'm not that familiar with Instagram. But it's either your reels or your stories, regardless, either way, it puts it up for 24 hours and then it deletes it. It goes away. And so I think a lot of it, she did that because she knows it would disappear. But, thank goodness for people like Llama Girl on Twitter. She got all of those. I have a lot of them. Balls has a lot of them on Instagram, I'm sure. Some of the creators that aren't really covering anymore, he did before. I know they have them up on their posts and stuff. So I'm sure 7M was able to get them from a lot of the posts. I'm sure in this situation, Llama Girl was very helpful for them to go back and get these particular things. Now, a lot of these, as you can see, this one is still up on Katie Joy's Instagram. Now, the ones where she was drunk and that kind of thing, she did delete those and deleting evidence. And she deleted those live streams before she was sued. I think we'll get to those. We'll be able to tell. Some of them I think were done before she was sued. But once she was sued and it says, do not be deleting any evidence, yes, it could become an issue. But honestly, as much as we want to say and think that she really hasn't deleted that much. The biggest problem is on Instagram with all the reels and stuff. So all these different live streams that she did on Instagram, like on the 7th of March, it starts out watching what the dancers are doing. You just have to expect that whatever they say is probably not going to be the truth. Usually leaders in groups like these are teaching their followers how to lie, and lying becomes second nature. So remember all those things that she was saying. Enemies are not the people that are victimized by the cult. The enemies will always be the leaders, or I guess not even the enemies. The person that we shall be looking at is not them, because they're getting led. And she goes on and on. We remember how she would just rant and goes on, and she's stating things. She's stating things as a fact, but not as much of a fact as she began to do later on. So I've got on the 8th of March, she deleted this post. I've got the overlay, so we'll look and see what it is because I was able to match it up. She says, well, here, let's listen to it. Let's see how long this one is. Ugh. 32 seconds. Oh, this was one of her drunken lives. Okay, this was before she was sued, so really doesn't kind of, doesn't go against, let's just say, any court order.
Is everyone a victim? Is everyone a victim of Robert Chin? Yes. Are there layers of victims in this world? Yes. Who are the most vulnerable and who are the targets and who are really the victims? The women. 100% the women in the situation are the victims. And Miranda's lives really concerned me.
Okay, so that just came from right here. That was from here, from her March 8th. We remember, I know y'all remember that live, and I know somebody's going to say it. I know somebody's going to refer to this live. You know exactly which one I'm talking about. Lots of the drunk ones on, yes, WOACB versus WOACB. Oh, will she be in chat today? She might be in the bushes. So they go through, and you can see that one clip that I just did was a clip they want the jury to see. Then she also says she couldn't even look at the camera when she said that, and it felt like a hostage video. It felt like she knew she was lying, and she the lack of eye contact was really what it was for me. Like, and then they say this statement is defamatory. Robert or Israel tells people not to think. And this is a classic technique in cults where they don't want you to think critically. So we all remember that live. Isn't that her court dress? Oh, I guarantee you she's going to wear that one day. We're all going to recognize that. Yep, that's the live with the pink. Oh, nope. There's another one with the pink Bible. Oh, wait, actually, she did have the Bible in that one. Yes. And she was rocking back and forth in her chair. Yep. And she pulled something out from between her legs underneath the blanket, or it appeared that way. Oh, my goodness. All the content she has given us, right? Okay. So we know that live. That's what they were talking about there. Then on the 9th, this post was deleted. Let me see what it says, because I know that if it's deleted, I would have referenced it in another video or something. Y'all, bear with me. I don't have a mouse. And it's not letting me. Fact. Oh, yeah. This one was deleted. This one's bad for her because it says, y'all, fact. See this right here? Fact. Miranda and B Dash do not have their own home. Multiple sources confirmed to us that the church has them living in a property owned by the church. However, some of the property records are being held in obscure trust names unaffiliated with anyone at the homes. And then she puts a red flag. Fact, having a car at age 25 when you are supposedly making bank on social media isn't a gift or a prize. It's a necessity of most working adults. Well, that contradicts the fact that she says that Robert controls all their money, but here she's saying that they make lots of money. What happened to Robert controlling it? All these Instagram posts in March of 2022. This is prior to her getting sued, y'all. Clearly. What is this? I've got something starred here. What is this date? So on March 10th, she did another Instagram live, and she says in here, I starred this. So let's look at why I flagged this. You are helping the cult when they get sponsorships. You're helping the cult when they're going on their like on their gigs, because they're not getting the money that they should be getting, and you're not taking things away from the dancers. You're taking things away from the cult, and they are part of a cult now. Huh. Yeah, just go. Let's just blatantly tell everybody to go and ruin all their brand deals, all their sponsorships. Yeah, that's smart. And that got her in trouble. The date of the original lawsuit was she was served April 5th of 2022. Then on April 7th of 2022, there was an amended complaint where they added James and Miranda as plaintiffs, because originally it was only Robert Shin and 7M Films. That's before she blocked you. Yeah, that list has to be long. So then let's see what something else she says in this one. She also says, I'm not going to say which dancers and what choreo. And so again, what I'm reading here is what 7M has gone back in and totally cleaned up and took each statement and time stamped it out of this live that they want the jury and the judge to see. So she says, I'm not going to say which dancers and what choreographers that I've spoken to. I just want to be clear that for some of these people, it's extremely dangerous because this group has a lot to lose. And so people, we just have to be very careful in regards to like things that you find online. And then another one is, I mean this is kind of like a cult, like I guess multi-level marketing, but a little bit more dangerous. Are you gonna just stand there idly and not do anything and let them live and say, well, it's their fault because they got themselves involved in it? Or are you going to try to find a way to expose the situation that they're involved in? So this is when she was trying to recruit people to get on her side and start talking on them. She was trying to get some of these dancers with big platforms, and one of them was Allison Holker, right? She was married to Twitch at the time. Twitch was still alive, and she was trying to get them on her side. And she was like, "Come on, everybody! Come on, everybody!" And some people were smart enough to be like, "Oh, hell no." So then some more Instagram posts all through March. Let's see the next one. That gal, there's so much. So we are going to fly through these. You can find these documents on there's a website. I've posted it many times. I know I've got it on my channel somewhere, but if you just go look up and I remind me if anybody needs it, ask and I'll try to tell you. So, but you can find all these, but you can see how much they have cleaned these up. I mean, like, look, they put, so for some of it, instead of just paraphrasing a post that Katie Joy did, they went back and put the entire post, like if it was a written post, just to clear up any questions as to what part of it they thought was defamatory. Again, this is all still March. Look how busy she was. We're only on March 15th. So this Instagram post on March 15th was deleted. So let's read that one. Just read some of it. Are all the dancers she talked to going to support her at trial? I don't know. I was talking, it's funny because I was talking to somebody about that today, like who we think, she would call as a witness. I mean, obviously she's going to call the Wilkings. Is she can talk to these other dancers? Some of these dancers, look, y'all, some of these dancers, and it's been shown, they've gone on podcasts, they've made their own posts. I think Dash X might have some information on this too that you can chime in. They've actually said out loud that that they were able to leave freely, right? That they were not abused physically, they were not starved, that they had free will. Yes, maybe the management company took too much. Maybe, they gave a lot, they tied a lot, they did X, Y, and Z, but they said that they were not in any physical harm. They've come out and said that publicly. So on this one, what was deleted, she said there are a lot of accusations that by contacting brands, we are harming the dancers. So this is another one where she's telling people just go ahead and contact the brand deals. You're not harming the dancers. You're only hurting Robert Shin. You got to go where the source of the money is. Robert Shin and his team are controlling every move the dancers make. They control their money, time, and they are forcing them to live in property they either own or manage. So again, remember all these. If not, this is a reminder. Here's another one that I did on 17th of March. This was a post, and for some reason I started, and it says, the dancers are never alone and not allowed to make decisions without Robert's permission. Robert truly believes he has the right to take away someone's free will. She states that as a fact. How do you know what Robert thinks? How do you know what Robert feels? Y'all, we're only on number 46 here, in March 17th of 2022. Can you imagine being a juror on this? How do you know what Robert feels? How can you state this as a fact in a post? For those saying they are adults, let them be in a cult. What if your loved one was held hostage through threats of damnation, loss of income, loss of friends, cursing, taking away privileges. Robert is taking away privileges and punishes dancers who do not submit. He demands full submission. They are not allowed to ask questions because questions are evil. This isn't a cult. Now it's not a cult, but this is, again, very early on. This is, in my opinion, a madman that gets away with it once and his behavior is escalating. And then on the 17th, she makes a post about MAC Cosmetics, which we know was a situation that came up about, brand deals and taking away the brand deals. Here she starts talking about Robert's deposition, his sworn depositions in the case with Lydia Chung. That came back to bite her. Again, you'll see why I'm going through a lot of this, because there's so much to cover, and I want to get to the really, really good stuff. What was the date on this one? The 18th of March. She was. This was a live. Let me see if it was live stream or if it was YouTube. Oh, it was it's a post, a deleted Instagram. So it means she was drunk. Robert is a dangerous man because on top of the sexual commingling of sleeping with the women, y'all, I've seen this clip too many times that I can see her hand gestures. I can see her saying it. Robert is a dangerous man because on top of the sexual commingling of sleeping with the women at church and having 4 wives and sleeping with other women at church while he's married and having affairs with other women and young women at that, he's messing with people's financial lives. He's controlling who they can be friends with. He's telling them who to cut out and cut in and who they can even speak to. He's telling them that they're anointed by God. And so no one will understand them more than him. He keeps no records of donations to the church. There's no oversight. He controls everything. He is the CEO of the church. He's the CEO of the management company. He's the CEO of every company that these people are involved in. No one is above Robert Shin. Nobody is putting Robert in check. And Robert isn't telling these dancers the money that's being made. Robert already lifted $4.7 million from Lydia. So she's saying in this live stream, that he's stealing all the money. They don't even know what they're making, that they're completely, hey, Burke Bunch, how are you doing? So we're going over the amended complaint that 7M just filed, where they went in and they cleaned up all the statements that they said were defamatory, that the judge was like, yeah, a little ambiguous. What statement did she make that you're considering defamatory? So they amended their complaint. Now, this has to be approved by the judge. So they filed this motion to be able to, to amend the complaint. And it went from, 20-something pages to 89 pages. So it's a doozy. And they went in and say she did an hour and a half live. They went in and they took out the statements such as this right here. They time-stamped it to make it very clear to the jury and the court what it was. Katie said that they find defamatory. Like when she said his real estate companies are a front. Do you think that I would place myself in danger by telling? Oh, I've got that clip. I'm surprised I didn't put that one in here. Do you think that I would place myself in danger by telling people publicly I'm going to report him to the IRS? Do you know what that could probably? Do you know that could probably get me killed? She actually said that. Hey, Jill, how are you? Yeah, so that was a drunken live. That one was the one. She was in a pink sweater. She was talking about how dangerous he was. I think I actually did put. Let me see if I did put a clip from that one in here. No, I didn't. So that was on. If I'm making y'all dizzy, I'm sorry. That was on March 18th. That was a long one. So these are all the statements. They don't care about the female dancers at all. That was something that 7M feels that you're alive. Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad you're here. So glad you're here. When somebody says, how are you doing? Well, I'm alive. They don't care about the female dancers at all. 7M doesn't have connections to get those deals on their own, and that's sad. Do you want to sign with a manager that doesn't have any connections in the industry? So again, this was early on. This was before she was sued. Y'all, if y'all think these are bad and you think like them going back and really, really breaking it down like this, yeah, it is. But wait. Just you wait. She's screwed. I mean, look, y'all. A year ago when somebody asked me how I felt about this, I had to say it kind of quietly. I'm like, oh, 50-50. Like, I just don't know. Defamation is so tough. Like, but then Katie kept going and kept going. And Katie has done this to herself. Katie, this is not going to end well for Katie. If Katie would have shut up after she was sued and just let this kind of go, she wouldn't be in the situation she's in. KJ is messy as fuck. You're not kidding, Jill. You're not kidding. Again, all of these posts, an Instagram post on 319 talking about how I guess Miranda doesn't have 50-50 with her management. Miranda can't miss any church events or she is punished, right? But then again, like I said, we have heard from other dancers on podcasts and other things where they said they weren't punished. Now they might have had things taken from them if they didn't go to church. Maybe they could vouch for that. But they didn't feel threatened. The majority of them that have spoke up said they didn't really feel threatened physically to leave. So all of these, again, I have to skip through. If you're watching on a replay, yeah, feel free to pause and read all of these, right? That way you can get them all. I'm probably making you dizzy by going back and forth because I do not have a mouse. And oh yeah, remember this one, y'all? This one I know I've done in past videos. This post was deleted. I have it, where it was on the March 23rd of 2022. And she says, internet, do your thing. I know y'all remember that. Internet, do your thing. And it was regarding Forever 21. KJ cooked herself. She has done it time after time. This time, though, she's actually going to be held accountable because she thought, look, in the past, she hasn't been held accountable for shit. She never thought it was going to go this far. And I was talking to someone last night about this. KJ's attorney should have told her early on, like, you need to stop. You need to stop, because they should have foreshadowed to where we're at right now. As I'm sitting here reading this to you, they should have looked at this and gone, this is what could happen. This is what's going to happen. And this isn't even it, y'all. Like, this is like, this is PG rated. If you want to, I'm not saying that she gets explicit in that manner, but like, this is very, small beans compared to what she puts herself into. And again, this is March 20, I'm like in March 29th of 2022. I put a star here. So let's look and see why I flagged that. Hey, Pro Charlotte Luke. Hey, everyone. Dead reminder, KJ is a trash bag. Yep. That is the truth. How are you doing, my friend? You know how much I miss you? I miss all of you, but I miss hearing Pro Charlotte Luke say, boom. And it's so good to have so many of you in here that have been around for this for so long and that know, like, whenever we're kind of going through this, even if you haven't been around through all the very beginning of this, just to hear these words that I'm reading just goes to show you what she has said and done. How many times has KJ said that she won? A lot. And in fact, they're all in here. They're all in here, sis Kate. They're all in here. The times that she said that, 7M's made it a point to tell the courts, so the jury's going to hear that. The jury is absolutely going to hear that. Her attorney joined her on a TikTok live. Were they in the chat? That was early on, wasn't it? Boom. I'm doing well. It's finally Friday. Oh, you're off work. For those of you that are off work, I hope you're enjoying your Friday. And if you're not off work yet, that you enjoy your Friday, enjoy your weekend. Okay, so on this one, this was let me go see. Was this a live or was this YouTube? Oh, making myself dizzy. The 29th of March. It's an Instagram live. We're not making this up. Are you going to prove that in court? We're not making this up. And I hope people understand this is a very serious situation and we want the authorities to do something about this. We want the IRS to step in and we would love the FBI to investigate. We would love the LAPD to investigate. And right now, all we can go off is like the hearsay, and until a victim reports a crime, like we can't force an investigation. So this is very mild with her saying, yeah, I want, we need law enforcement involved. We need law enforcement involved, right? Once we fast forward towards the end of these, she's telling people to go file a complaint. She's telling people to contact the FBI. She's telling people to contact LAPD, LA Sheriff's Office, the DA's office. So this is mild. Ruth Carroll, you're still here because you're holding. Say, you know what, Ruth? I don't want to be talking about Katie Joy, and I hate to say it. I love being here with you guys, and I do enjoy the lives. But you've noticed I haven't been putting out videos. Like I have to sit down and actually put the videos together. It's very difficult for me. Having to listen to her voice and put all this stuff together. It's frustrating. It's annoying. And yeah, a lot of people want to see her be held accountable. So yeah, a lot of people are around because they want to see her hold a grudge. And I've said that when this lawsuit is done, I'm going to stop talking about her unless she gets herself in another one. But particularly this one, because of Miranda and James. The internet lasts forever. She like this, this is what got her sued initially, y'all. Okay. And this is nothing compared to what she does later on. See, Christine says the same thing. Yep, same for me. People just want to see her held accountable. I'm telling y'all, it's difficult to go through all these lives and go through all the clips and start putting videos together. And I know it's helpful when I do it. And it also is helpful for me because it helps me remind me of things. But I've got too much going on in my world, and it takes up so much time. And mentally, it's exhausting. You're done after the lawsuit, Unitopia? Yeah, I think a lot of us are. I think a lot of people will be. And I think a lot of people that have come around since she started talking about Blake Lively, they're starting to catch on. I've seen, I think was it on Balls? Maybe somebody sent me something. I don't know, but like through the Reddit for the Blake Lively and the Justin thing, all of that, people are starting to catch on to her. This story that she inserted herself in was just diabolical. Jill, it is. It was. It's unreal. We're hungry for her to be held accountable because after everything she's done through the years, she has never been held accountable. And she never thought she'd get this far, did she? Well, thank you, Donna. And I know, and it's for people like you. Oh, it's for everybody. But there are people that say to me, look, it does help me. And because those people have told me that, I do those things for you guys. Do you know if 7M got that recording I've posted all over where KJ and the weird group with Colts Yuck trying to set up the raise the LAPD FBI Fields department? They're cooked, honestly. I don't know, Dash. I don't even know if I've heard it. Was that Dash? Where was it from? Fingerprints all over it. Where was it from? Was it from personal stuff? Yeah, she called it a frivolous lawsuit. We're about to see another clip of that too, Unitopia. They're so cooked. Yes, you're right about the dancers saying their lives are their own. Okay, thank you, Dash. I just didn't know where or what and who. I still get confused with some of the dancers. I still get confused by some of it, but I do know for a fact that it has been stated and it can be proven by 7M that some of these dancers have said, no, like we weren't in fear for our safety or whatever. Yeah, was it cult-like or whatever? But that's not the problem here, y'all. They're not even really kind of going after the whole, oh, she called us a cult. That's not even really the argument anymore. Because even Robert Shit himself is like, well, a cult can be a cult. Doesn't necessarily mean it's not defamatory. Those aren't the defamatory things. And as we're reading all this, we see that that's really not what the focus of this is like we thought initially it would be. Yeah, Miranda was making peace with her family. She was meeting with them. And then and then the whole docuseries was being planned behind the scenes. I think she knew about that, but they were on the mend and they could have backed out of it and they didn't. Look, I hold her family just as responsible. It's almost kind of like they handed some of their dirty work over to Katie. And I mean that by separating family from, this kind of social media bullshit, that she's spewing. If this is successful, it'll be justice for all her victims. I think so. I still think, look, y'all, I still have total faith in Todd Chrisley. Okay, so here I've got a clip from this one. What was the date on this one? This was, again, I know I'm making y'all dizzy. I apologize. April 1st. She did Instagram Live. She deleted it because she was drunk. Let's look at overlay number 4.
All the money they're making is going to Robert and the church. That's the allegation. So you're not ruining their livelihood. You're actually it's about stopping the cult from making money. And if you start squeezing off that revenue source, it forces them to have to divert and to change course. And if they don't have the money to sustain, to continue doing what they're doing, they can't continue to exploit these people.
So with that live stream, that was one of the statements that they wanted to point out as defamatory. Also, James is paying child support, but probably not what he should be paying. Robert taking money from James is taking money away from that child. Stop talking about other people's child and this isn't just for Katie Joy. This is for every freaking person on the freaking YouTube. Stop talking about other people's children. For all that is holy, stop. I can't stand it. She can't stand it when people talk about her child, but here she is talking about his child. They're using tactics to stop critical thinking, control their diet, so they are hungry and tired, taking away access to responsibilities. Do y'all remember whenever she posted a new picture of Miranda versus an old one, and she's like, look how skinny she is. She's being starved. They looked identical. In fact, she almost looked healthier in the second one where Katie was like, she's being starved. You stopped your live commenting on a different time. Were you behind? Pro Charlotte Luke. That's okay. I'll do that. I'll go in someone's chat and I'm like, I always forget I'm behind because I always like to catch up and then I'll start commenting on what I'm reading, but they're 30, 40 minutes ahead of me. Okay. So again, April 2nd. So she was just about to be sued here. This is when she says, Miranda and B-Dash mysteriously left on a trip, knowing full well the Wilkings were traveling to see Miranda. So it's all these kind of things, right? We remember a lot of these. If you don't, and again, if you're watching this in the replay, or if you go back and watch the replay, you can pause it and you can read it all. Everything she said, because again, here on this for April 2nd of 2022, this is an Instagram Live, okay? These are the statements. They're time-stamped of what they want the jury, of the courts and the jury to basically see ultimately that she said. For instance, 7M today said that they aren't doing that and that they have all the free time they want, independent talent that control their own resume and careers. Okay. So that's gone. Well, she got sued a couple days after that. She ended that with, or maybe she didn't end it, but this is another statement within that live. I don't know why, my reporting and what I'm sharing isn't equivalent in many ways to them coming forward. They've come forward to me and I'm sharing what they're allegedly, eventually they might get to a space where they feel comfortable sharing, but they also have to remember that they fear retaliation. Do they? Do they? And they don't know what would happen if they spoke out. Todd Chrisley said something on the podcast that once they finished addressing all the family with Lindsay, then they were going to they will get back to dealing with other things. I heard that. And you know what? I actually recorded that part of that because I wanted to go over that on a live stream one day with y'all. I wish I had more enthusiasm to do this, and being here with y'all makes me want to do that. But I get caught up in my everyday life, and then I start to kind of prepare for these things, and it just takes a lot of time, which is good. It's good. But like this one's needed, right? Like this one we needed to do because they just filed this. Again, still in March, still in April. On April 3rd of 2022, Instagram post deleted. So again, this was a live stream. Within that live stream, these are statements that they want to be seen, that they consider defamatory. One is, when am I going to get back to the Duggars in reality television when this group stops abusing people? This is a doomsday cult. This is bullshit. This is abuse. This is trafficking. This is coercion. This is manipulation. I have that clip too. I'm surprised I didn't put that one in here. Again, I did all this really fast today to go back and try to find the clips that coincide with this, just to remind y'all. Because sometimes for me, and it might be for some of y'all too, if I see a clip of a live stream that she did and I see what she's wearing, then it kind of conjures up everything she said in that live stream type thing. But yeah, do you remember that? This is bullshit. This is abuse. This is trafficking. This is coercion. This is manipulation. Not only are you cheating the algorithm by cross-posting them on multiple pages, which is illegal, you're uploading videos across multiple YouTube channels, which is a violation of YouTube. It's also not allowed on Instagram. You're creating fake accounts to bump up the algorithm. And you'll see where she contradicts herself on that statement alone about creating fake accounts, buying bots, buying subs and followers, because it benefits them. And then she'll say that it's Robert. And so if I were on a jury and I were to see, hey, Coy, how are you? And I were to see a lot of this stuff, you're going to any good juror is going to cross-reference this stuff and be like, wait a minute, she stated this as a fact. Then she goes in and she says this. It's completely different. She's saying the opposite as a fact here. She obviously doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. Oh, I'm not going to leave. What? Thank you so much, Jill, for your super chat. I appreciate all the hard work you do, JJ. Thank you so much. See, y'all, look at y'all manipulating me to do some more. I'm just kidding. And again, I think I saw a statement that someone said, do not leave us. If Todd Chrisley comes after her, you bet your ass I will be on here too. Because he's funny too. Like just playing stuff that he would say. I know it would be after the fact because he wouldn't say anything up to it. He's way too smart. He's not dumb like Katie Joy, right? He would hold his tongue, but man, it would be funny as hell. I won't be, and I won't leave. Frisco, he said something along the lines that right now he's focusing. Todd Chrisley I saw a clip of it on Instagram, and it was, I think he was on somebody's podcast. It might have been their own podcast, but I think he said it a couple times. I could be wrong, but I know at least once. But he basically said that, once he gets done with his family stuff and everything that's kind of going on with that he's going to circle back to the things that need to be taken care of. Because he has been talking about, the federal situation and how he was screwed over. And yeah, he's going to tackle that. But Katie Joy was a part of that. She was involved in that, right? She even says that she admits openly that she was a witness. It was live where they said they had been pushing LWD and FBI to do a raid on him, and they gave him the info. They gave them the info on how many complaints they needed to do the raid. Okay, so was exposing and stop culting were they in the chat? I do remember that. Yes. So that's whenever around that time is whenever all of a sudden you see what's her name, one of the dancers, go and put in file a police report in LA saying that she was sexually I don't want to use the wrong term. I don't want to say assault. It might have been assault, or it was a lot. I don't even know exactly how they worded it. I can't remember, but it was because he was behind her and she felt like he pushed his, I don't mean to laugh because if she is a victim, but that he hip thrust her from behind and she felt that it was sexual in nature. But it took her over a year. Don't quote me on that. I forget exactly how long, and I have the details on that. It took her a very long time to go report that, to say that it was sexual misconduct. It was, whatever. So she filed a police report. And it was around that time that Katie and these other accounts were encouraging people that they needed to come forward and that they only needed so many things left for the LAPD and whatever other agencies to start looking into Robert, and that they would make an arrest. You hope he's petty tripping. If you're petty, if you're talking about Todd Chrisley, oh, you know he's going to be so petty. Okay. Again, we're still only in April of 2022. So here's April 5th of 2022. This is the day that she was served. So this was, it says Instagram post. It doesn't look like it was live because there's no timestamps. This comment is actually terrifying. Why is Miranda's life in danger? I'm not doing anything to physically hurt Miranda. Oh, Miranda had made some statement. And Katie Joy, and I've done videos on this, is like, and this was the first one that she had done this to, saying that she's like, why is she saying her life is in danger? I'm not doing anything to physically hurt Miranda. Who would be harming Miranda? Not one person speaking out for her is putting her in danger. So because Kelly won't publicly condemn me or others that are reporting on the 7M situation, I am being sued. Okay, so yeah, she's gotten sued. She made a post and she deleted it. Is this some sort of intimidation tactic, being sued to try to force the Wilkins hands? Anyone can file lawsuits. It doesn't mean anything happens. What I do know is that I will never be silenced or intimidated to stop reporting. Oh, yeah, one day you will be. One day you will be. It's inevitable. At least talking about them, you will. So then she did a live stream. Sorry, y'all, I'm making myself dizzy. On the 6th, the day after. And I've got what she said. So let's look at that one quick. Again, I can't talk while these are on. What is it? Number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this one's 1 minute and 46 seconds, y'all. So I won't interrupt it because if I do have to start it over. But on the day after she was sued, this is what Katie Joy had to say.
And in regards to like this lawsuit, it's literally bogus. I mean, my legal team looked over it and we know that there's nothing to this and we're not worried one bit. They just want to silence us and stop the reporting. And my biggest concern here is that for the last several days, there's been this like dramatic shift where we're only talking about Miranda. And I came at this story because I found out about Miranda, but it has nothing, like, Miranda's one person. And, you know, the other thing I want to say is if Robert Shin is truly serious about this lawsuit, he has like at least 7 accounts right now that I found that are linked to them that are actively smearing me, spreading horrible video, like horrible content about me, lies, slander. I mean, they're going out of their way to discredit me, which is part of when someone gets cornered, they try to deflect, at least that's my belief, because they don't want the truth to come out. So they want to intimidate me so that I'll stop talking about it. The thing that makes me the saddest in this situation is that they have Miranda so paranoid that the world hates her when it's not the case. And she is dedicating her time and energy to making hate-filled videos towards me when I've never in my life once said I hate you, Miranda. I think you are a beautiful girl and a wonderful dancer.
Yeah, okay, Katie, it's going nowhere. Yep, going nowhere, right? You exploited people with autism, mental health issues. I heard from multiple sources that you would lock them in rooms and let them scream, and you don't allow them to go to the doctor. I mean, look, we could just take that one statement and be like, wow. Can you imagine being on a jury? We're doing everything we can to get the police involved, to get the FBI involved, to get someone in the authority world to take this seriously. This is a day after she was sued, y'all. What a fucking idiot. And, oh, y'all, and that's why I'm trying to get through this really fast because there's so much left. Yeah, going back to the Todd Chrisley thing, let me reiterate. I'm just wishful thinking. Do I think Todd Chrisley will come back around? I'm hoping that he will. I have reason to believe, just because I just want to believe that that she's on his radar. He's not going to let this go. He has plenty of time, because I remember looking up the statute of limitations on that, and he has time. Okay, so I went backwards there. As we move forward, there's Instagram posts. She's claiming that she has all these, that Robert Shin was behind all these smear accounts. That's going to come back to bite her too, because she says that they did all these horrible things and said all these horrible things about her, but that's not true. Todd Chrisley is hilarious. He is so funny. He is so funny. So now we're okay. So look at that. So she goes from the 8th and the 13th of April, jumps to July, and she says, and this was an Instagram story, of course, so it was deleted, so I can't say much, but I've shared that I'm working on a project that will take this to a way bigger audience, and that remains true. Now, 7M was already aware that there were some happenings in the works, like that there was going to be some type of documentary, something made. For some reason I starred this one. So let's see. 3 frivolous lawsuits filed against me are slowly coming to a close. So they went back, and so on this post, they went and they put the entire thing verbatim. And they did that with a lot of them. 3 frivolous lawsuits filed against me are slowly coming to a close. 1 case is being dismissed tomorrow. 1 case missed a huge deadline in court and failed to serve notice to us until a week after the deadline. That she's referring to as 7M. They have done nothing to prosecute their case in the 4 months since they've filed. Again, talking about 7M. 1 case resulted in a settlement with 2 of the parties. We are waiting for the other party to either voluntarily dismiss their case, or we will seek a dismissal or summary judgment. She's talking about 7M there. They have also provided no discovery and done nothing to prosecute this case in the 9 months since they filed against me. Wait, up here it just said 4 months. And now it says 9 months. Saying the exact same thing. That could be a typo on 7M's end. Todd is what I believe it. It is my opinion and belief that Todd Chrisley, I agree with you, Ruth Carroll, that Todd is waiting to kick her when she's down. Anyways, don't waste the court's time to try to intimidate someone. It's just gross. You know what's gross, Katie? Everything about you. Everything about you, Katie Joy, is just fucking gross. All right. Then she posts on 18th. Shin and 7M missed discovery deadline. Yes, they did miss a discovery deadline because they had requested through the court. They were not going to provide discovery without having a protection order, or at least try to receive a protection order from the court on discovery. And guess what? It was granted, as we know. Now she says this on August 18th. That was granted in part in February of 2023. Okay. So yes, they did miss a deadline technically, but because they had been trying to reach the courts behind the scenes and then they filed a motion, and then it went through, and then it was ruled upon in February of 23, and it was granted in part. And that is why there's a restraining order on discovery. She picks it back up in October. She did a Twitter post that was deleted. I didn't see that one. I'm not on Twitter. So let's read it. I don't even think I know about this one. I don't think this was in their original complaint. I could be wrong. I see everyone is talking about my lawsuit with 7M. 7M has not complied with our discovery request. We have filed a motion to compel discovery. In an effort to get out of complying with our discovery demands, they are now trying to claim we missed deadlines where we did not. They missed a deadline for discovery and have been avoiding all attempts to send over legally required discovery to us. In an attempt to avoid discovery demands, they are now seeking a default judgment. Yeah, that's when they put in a motion for a default judgment along with a motion for a protective order on discovery. But this is October 3rd. Yeah, they put in a motion for default judgment because Katie Joy had still not filed her answer in this case. She was served on April 5th, and here we are, October, and it said you have 21 days to answer. Here we are, October 3rd, and she had still not filed an answer. So yeah, they filed a motion for default judgment. We miss no deadline period. This is a desperate and amateur. They're the amateurs in this one, y'all. 7M is the amateurs in this one. An amateur move in an attempt to not legally comply with discovery requests in this case. They have not been granted an extension for deadlines, an injunction, nor sent any discovery to us despite missing the deadline a month ago. Okay, we all know how that turned out, right? Hey, Goose. Have I said hi to you this whole time? I think I have. Look at me losing my mind. When I start reading like this and I start getting cross-eyed, y'all can tell. So I'm going to take a break here in just a second. We're going to chat about something. We'll just kind of chat randomly, and then we'll get back to it because I got to give my eyes a break. I told my husband last night, I was like, I've got to go get my eyes checked. I've never had to wear glasses. I've never worn contacts. I haven't had my eyes checked since I was in my 30s. I had 20/20 up until a good part of my life, and I refused to go get my eyes checked. But y'all, things are starting to get a little blurry here. I get a little dizzy. So let me give my eyes a break here in a bit. Oh, is this the one where she puts the thing where people should? I've got the post. So on October 5th, she says, my business is a world of moving through reporting the story and knowing the truth could get me sued. Either way, I don't fret about the legal side. I have lawyers for that. Okay, whatever. Okay, so then it goes into well, hold on, what's this? I know I'm making you dizzy. I'm making myself dizzy. P.S. Robert Shin wants to get an injunction to stop me from speaking about him, but he or his people ran to YouTubers this week to try to smear me. See, that's going to be another problem. Proving that any YouTuber was hired or persuaded by Robert Shin to talk shit on her and to smear her, good luck proving that, because I guarantee you nobody has. We were all covering her and talking about her before this, some way before me. Donna. Yeah. She's gonna have a hard time proving that. She can't prove it. And that might be something that 7M wants to bring some creators in that Katie Joy is named, I don't know, and just be like, that have made videos or whatever, and say, hey, under oath, have you ever been in contact with Robert Shin, any part of Robert Shin, any of his associates? Have you been paid by Robert Shin? Guarantee you this statement right here, and they bring it up a lot in this. That's why I'm kind of wondering if that's something they're going to consider doing at trial, because they've brought it up a lot, and Katie Joy says it a lot, and they would easily be able to prove that Katie Joy lied about that by saying that Robert Shin is paying people off to smear her. That can be a proven lie easily. I'm saying that. All right, so now we're jumping into December 2022. Now we're in 2023. Again, in February is whenever those rulings came out, and one of those rulings was one where Katie Joy thought that the judge deemed her a journalist. Hey, Grandma Kim. So for those that are coming later, we are going over the new filing that 7M just filed. It is, it's a motion to amend their complaint. And they've gone back, and you can see how detailed all of these statements are that Katie Joy said before. They were in the first complaint, the original complaint, they were very paraphrased, right? They were very, and they were kind of relying on the judge to go refer to the links and to read it themselves. And then finally the judge is like, oh, you can amend this and tell us, the court and the jury, because this, at this point, they're gearing up for this heading to trial. You can let us know the exact statements. So if Katie was on a live for an hour and a half, what were the exact statements that you found defamatory? What were the exact statements in a post that you find defamatory? So it went from the original complaint being 20-something pages to this amended one of being 89 pages. So these statements now that we're looking at as we're getting into 2023, and some of those ones from later on in 2022, those were not in the original complaint. These are all added in this amended complaint. She'll walk into court and scream, I declare bankruptcy. Good luck, Katie. Good luck. She misinterprets so many things. And, she does it intentionally. I think she does misinterpret things, but I think a lot of it is she wants to misinterpret it to her followers so they take on her narrative. So all of what we're looking at now, this is all new to the lawsuit as far as being in the complaint that a jury will see. The judge has seen this, but they have really, really laid this out. And when you start looking at this, y'all, she is screwed. On Instagram, she made this post, and they want says a lot of people asking questions about these lawsuits I've been involved in. And listen, it's such a standard. Oh, actually, this was a video little thing she did. This is when she said, well, let me finish it because I already see it's weird. I can read this and I know exactly what it was and what she was wearing and what she said. A lot of people asking questions about these lawsuits I've been involved in. And listen, it's such a standard part of working in the blogging and media world. Unfortunately, I would think it of as sort of an occupational hazard. I have been targeted frequently by some people that I think are just like up to really not so good things. And so sometimes those people don't like me reporting on them. The court does not consider the claims to have substantial likelihoods of being proven. So the court doesn't believe that Robert Shin has a case against me, nor would he win in any way, shape, or form. And that was also when she misinterpreted, like someone, like you just said, boy, she misinterprets a lot, that the court deemed her a journalist. But let me scroll through to the ones. Again, you can pause if you are watching on replay. This was on March 23rd of 2023. Katie Joy does a live, and she says a few things. She says, and this is what they are saying they consider defamatory. Robert decides that I am the reason that all of this is happening. She also says, and the judge told him that it was going to be damn near impossible for him to win because, one, he would have to prove malicious intent, which there was no malicious intent. We've been provided no discovery. She's wearing her Snoop Dogg in this. Oh, I've got an overlay so y'all will see it. Sorry, y'all. I can't get this to go just right. We've been provided no discovery, and this week, after a filing happened in LA County, we sent a notice to them that we're seeking sanctions from them. And if they don't dismiss his case, because we're going to win. All right, let's see what she had to say. This is something that a jury will hear. I've only done I think I did 12 little clips just to match up some of these statements. There's hundreds of them at this point now in this new, again, y'all have to remember the judge has not approved this. This has not been granted. We do not know if this amended complaint is going to be the new thing that Katie has to confine to and abide by. We don't know that. But nonetheless, they filed a motion to amend the complaint. All right, number 6. Let's see what she says here. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. This is what she said. Oh, yeah, her Snoop Dogg shirt.
So don't contact my attorneys and ask them about what I'm doing, because I have full permission from my legal team to report, because that's what my job is. And as a reporter, the judge said that I would not be silenced. Okay. And that's what happened.
Katie Joy, no. No, the judge did not say that. The judge did not say that you would not be silenced. What the judge said was that they could not grant their motion for temporary injunction that they filed back in October of 2022, what was ruled on in February of 2023, and this is March of 2023. And she's trying to say that the judge said, yeah, you know what, that they can't silence me. Well, yes, to some degree, they can't take away her freedom of speech. We've talked about this, right? It's her constitutional right. We've already talked about this many, many times. But your dumbass keeps talking. It's your dumbass fault. She's gotten herself into so much trouble, y'all. Miranda just looks good. That's what bugs Katie. Wait until she's on a jury. Wait until a jury gets to meet her. Wait until you have Miranda Derrick up on the stand versus Katie Joy Paulson up on the stand. So the judge has seen this. This has been submitted. This was considered. This was part of the statements that were seen in summary judgment. However, they were not part of the original complaint, at least outlined in this manner, if that makes sense. So they've amended it. They've added them all. So when this goes to the jury, either it'll stay as is, as this is amended, or Katie Joy will come back and say, no, and then there'll be some changes made. We have yet to see that, right? So we can't stick to this as being 100% set in stone. This still has to be approved. But this is what 7M has submitted as being their amended complaint. Words have consequences no matter who you are, Sis Kate says. Yes. And Katie hasn't had to, hey, Susie Flies. Katie has not had to, I love Miranda too. They'll love Miranda. And I know they will. I mean, she's just likable. I mean, I've just felt so bad for her. I love Miranda. I think a lot of us in here do. Luke says, I can't wait to see what Katie Joy wears to court. I'll be telling you, Luke, I'll let you know. Don't you worry, my friend. Will she wear her diaper? Possibly. Those are long days in court. Don't say that. Do I have to wear a diaper too? I'm just kidding. What else? All us old people pro Charlotte Luke? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I don't know what she's going to wear. We'll know. There'll be people there. I hope they don't have to wear diapers. They have bathrooms. Luke. Don't get it twisted. They have bathroom breaks, pretty sure. So we all remember that. She continues on. So then March of 2023, obviously more Instagram posts. Again, feel free to pause and read this if you're on replay. What's this? Sorry, y'all. I'm making myself dizzy. Oh my gosh. Okay, if I can't get this to stick, I'm going to quit. Okay, there we go. I haven't forgotten. Oh, I did this one because, so in January 2024, so we've made a skip, right? She was quiet for a long time. Remember that hiatus that she was on? She obviously got stuck on somebody else or something. But yeah, don't knock diapers. Katie's going to bring Spanish Red in her water bottle to court. Snoopy shirt and diapers is my guess, Susie says. Katie the forehead, Joy next to Miranda. Yeah, I mean, Miranda's just so and James is likable. Miranda's likable. Katie is just, and to keep in mind, they're not only going to see her up on the stand, the jury's going to see these clips of these videos where she's like clearly got this, smugness about her, where she's smiling while she's talking about their, it's awful. She's just not likable. Snoop Dogg, not Snoopy Dumb. Oh, did it say Snoopy Dumb? Okay, so January of 2024. I haven't forgotten about 7M, Miranda, or the Wilkins family. I promise you that this photo is not what it seems. I know this factually. So see how she's changing her tune? I know factually that the Wilkins love Miranda. I also know, and yeah, okay, so the Wilkins told her that. Okay, that's fine if they go up and they testify. But then she says, I also know that Miranda's visits are not what they seem, and there are all still huge and there are still huge walls. She is still not free and still is under a lot of control. How can you state that as a fact? That alone, saying as a fact, I also know that Miranda's visits are not what they seem, and there are still huge walls. She is still not free and still is under a lot of control. Yeah, she won't make eye contact with the jury. She can't even do it with her when she's making videos. She's jealous of Gordon. Yeah, they're going to see that. They're going to sense her jealousy. Then we're going to skip to May of 2024 because she wasn't as active. She wasn't making posts every single day. She wasn't going live every single day. This is May of 2024. I have been designated a point of contact for updates on Miranda Wilking and her involvement with an alleged cult for more than 2 years. Just because you've only heard about the Wilkings doesn't mean the story is about them. In fact, this story encompasses more than 25 years of trauma and victims. Really? Are you gonna bring all those? Are you gonna bring all that up to show? So obviously, this is just before the docuseries was released, the summer of 2024. I know, Shanna Lee. I can't believe KJ is using the law firm she's using. Y'all, this is, as you see, after I read this, I was like, she is so screwed up after I went through this. It is very clear that Amber Stavig, the attorney for 7M, has been strategic this entire way, and this is just part of strategy that is not going to go well for Katie Joy. Oh, yes, Luke. Her attorney will be gritting their teeth when Katie hits the stand. That is for sure. Is a judge female? Yes, Ruth Carroll, she is. It's a female. Now, the original rulings, the rulings we just spoke about, that was ruled on in February of 2024, that was the original judge. Right around this time, that's probably why she started posting. In May of 2024, I think it was March of 2024, it was stated that there was a new attorney, a new judge assigned to the case. In May of 2024, they had a Zoom hearing to kind of catch up and kind of get on the same page, so to speak. I was in that Zoom hearing, and at that Zoom hearing, 7M asked that they had no longer be allowed to do Zoom hearings, that they all be in-person hearings. So for Katie Joy to say recently that she doesn't think Robert Shin, Miranda, or James are going to show up to this hearing this coming Monday, February 9th, which is the pre-trial conference, for her to think that they're not going to show up on Monday, therefore she's going to win this case, is just ludicrous. It's just Katie Joy's way of thinking, right? It's just her logic. And she says, this is not a harmless group. This is a sophisticated group that premeditated this plan years before they found the dancers. They were looking for entertainers for years to do this to. They hit pay dirt during the pandemic. Dancers were out of work and they needed income. Feeling unstable and insecure about careers, these dancers were vulnerable. And there is some truth to that statement to some degree, but can you state that specifically about these dancers? That's going to be a question. Yeah, KJ has said that she's old school pals with Graham, like they went to high school together or something. A seriously strong mouth guard, Luke. A muzzle. A mouth guard for at night and a muzzle to not scream out at her during court. So right around this time, May of 2024, where we're at, is whenever this new judge was on the case. They're trying to catch up, and a lot of those delays were from the other judge. They had construction in the courthouse, whatever it may be. Then we start moving forward. So you would think, I mean, here we are almost a year and a half, a bit over a year and a half on this. Again, For the star, when you see me go where the stars are, that's because I wanted to pinpoint, I wanted to, focus on that particular thing because there's so much. There's so much. Like I said, look, we're already at statement 100. The original one was 80 something. Okay. They've made a lot of changes. This is their proposed amended complaint, and they have broken it down. And when you start looking at these, and if you were looking at these and you were a juror and you see her stating these things as fact, and you see these videos that she made, these live streams that she did, stating things as fact, as a juror, I'm looking at it from that perspective. Honestly, for those of you that have followed me for a long time, I try to stay very fair in this, right? I try to stay as neutral as possible. And reading this, it's very hard to stay neutral in the fact of, well, is this going to be a typical, defamation is very hard to prove. Katie Joy in the very beginning, yes, there would have been that uphill battle. I firmly believe that. I absolutely believe that. And it was always hard for me to say that out loud. Now, because she wouldn't shut up and the shit she's done, and we're about to get into it. We're about to get into some of the worst stuff that she said. Okay. And some of the worst stuff she's done. It is in this amended complaint now. If this gets approved by the judge, which I don't want to say one way or the other, but my opinion is the majority of this will be in there, if not all of it. Okay. Because 7M is smart. Amber Stavig is smart. She's very strategic. She knows the law. She knows what she can do. She knows what she's doing here. She knows what she could put in. She knows what she should leave out. Okay. I think her behavior and demeanor on the videos will show the jury a lot about who she is. 1000%. I agree. Okay. All right, so now we're in May of 2024, just before the docuseries comes out. This was an Instagram post, it looks like. She says, Robert Shin is now forcing dancers to see their families. When they see their families, the dancers will take photos and sometimes videos to post onto their social media to make the public happy. Good luck proving that, Katie Joy. Because you're going to have Miranda up there saying that this is not true. In fact, many of the dancers' social media accounts are allegedly managed by church mentors. The posts are done to try to trick the public. As a result, Melanie Wilking does not post photos with her sister on social media because she knows it's only for Robert. Oh, well, that's very supportive. That's very sweet there, sis. There's no family reunion. Miranda is still under Robert's control, lives in his housing, and is likely paying upwards of 70% of her income directly to Robert and the church. Holy shit. How is that going to go over? See the difference from whenever we started this and we were looking at the lives from back in the beginning of this in 2022, why she was sued? She was way more careful with the words. Now she's just straight up. There is no family reunion. Miranda is still under Robert's control, lives in his housing, and is likely paying upwards of 70% of her income directly to Robert and the church. Boom. Fact. Stated. Screwed. I think screwed. I think you're totally screwed, Katie Joy. More from May of 2024. Again, this is just before the docuseries is coming out. So she is amped up. It needed to be as attention-grabbing as it could be without being salacious and sleazy, talking about the docuseries. Now, this obviously, let me go back up because I think this is a YouTube video. Yes, this was a YouTube video that Katie Joy put out on her YouTube, letting everybody know that this docuseries was coming out. While this project was getting started, I got sued by Robert Shin. Lawsuit added so much stress for me personally, but it wasn't just me that got sued. Robert Shin wanted to silence everyone. He wanted to hurt anyone that touched the anointed. I've been through lawsuits before, y'all, and I didn't want to settle. I wasn't going to settle. I knew that I couldn't complete. Okay, this is why I started it. This is why I put a star next to this. I wasn't going to settle. I knew that I couldn't complete the project, meaning the docuseries. Okay. She knew she couldn't complete the docuseries if she settled. Okay. And I wanted to complete the project because I wasn't going to invest my money and time into something and not finish because of a lawsuit. She's admitting right here that she didn't settle because she wanted to finish this docuseries, which 7M's going to argue further hurt all of them, all the plaintiffs. Okay. He got a copy of, and this is another thing that just irks me, and I've said this before. He got a copy of my contract a month ago. By that time, the product was already delivered. So what she's saying is, well, I gave him a copy of my contract a month ago. She's had that contract for a long time. She's trying to say that 7M is the one that was delaying discovery. She's admitting right here she delayed discovery by not giving them a copy of that contract until a month ago when she knew that the product, that the docuseries, she's calling the product, the docuseries was already set to be aired. It was already in the works. It was already done. It was going to be aired. And then she gave up her contract to them. She was withholding that. She delayed discovery. She's saying 7M did. Maybe they did in some ways, but she's saying she didn't do it in any way. She's admitting right here in her YouTube video that she did not give them the contract, her contract with Netflix until a month ago. And by that time, the product was already delivered. That's bad. I find that bad. I could be wrong. Maybe it's not, but I find it bad. She's gotten more riled up the longer this has gone on. Yes, says Kate. She has gotten so full of herself. She just thinks that because everybody in the docuseries says the same thing she said, because they're all following the same narrative, right? It's only one-sided, that she's been, what's the word I'm looking for? You know what I'm saying? And then this isn't even it. Then whenever he's raided, then she gets even a bigger set of balls on her. An Instagram post that was deleted on the 29th of May, she tags the LADA's office. And she says, when she tagged the district attorney's office, that 3 women filed charges against Robert Shin. You have the file. Why haven't you charged him? See how bold she's getting? Yeah, exonerated. There's another word I was looking for. It starts with a C. Y'all, it's been 2 hours. I can always tell. And I know y'all hear me say this every time. I can always tell when it's been 2 hours because I start to get brain dead. Yeah, you know what, Susie Flies? I was talking to someone about that yesterday. I said, I really think that it took up until this time, till this last hearing, when Katie Joy filed her motion to reconsider, around that time, the ruling from that, I think that was about the time that Katie Joy's attorney finally realized that she does not know half the shit Katie Joy has said and done. I firmly believe that. That's just my own belief. That's just my opinion. So there's an Instagram post that was deleted. Legal fight that I endured while helping to work on the series, the smear campaign, and fight. Oh, this must have been stories, y'all. And I think this would have been on the stories. So around this time, she starts going crazy about it. Remember how many things she posted on Instagram regarding the lawsuit? I mean, regarding the docuseries. It was insane. So they're bringing this all out. Look, they're time stamping it. They're saying she said this on this deleted Instagram post, which is probably a reel. These are the things that she said, and they've got all of this. These are going to be images, and I've got examples of some of them I'm about to show, that the jury will see. So the jury's going to see all these things that Katie Joy put that's now deleted. We'll get to the ones that I have examples for in just a bit. So here we are again, still going crazy. It's the end of May. The docuseries came out on the 28th, I think, and here we are on the 29th. For some reason I wanted to read this. on the 29th of May of 2024, but the dancers don't control their social media. That's going to be another hard one for her. How is she going to prove that they don't control their own social media? They've already said under oath that they do in their depositions. They're going to say it on the stand that they do. Their comments, DMs, and posts are controlled by their managers and mentors. They will delete and block you. Engaging with this group, in my opinion, is extremely dangerous. So remember that there are people still trapped. And it's Robert that is the bad guy, not the dancers. She's saying that as a fact, even though just in the sentence before she said her opinion, she's just talking about don't engage with this group because they're dangerous. But then she's stating as a fact that, but don't forget that they are trapped. There's people trapped. That Robert is the bad guy. Robert's the bad guy, not the dancers. Her attorney just believes whatever Katie says. Yeah. I don't think anymore. I think it took this long for them to realize that she's not been honest with them this whole time. Because it's not her buddy Graham anymore, right? It's Jennifer, Jenny, whatever she goes by. I don't know. The longer Miranda's in, the more likely she'll be preyed on and become a victim of his cult, but also the SA that he allegedly does. How does that not invoke public outrage? How does that not get people so in a panic? She's saying basically that she is a SA victim, that Miranda is in fact an SA victim of Robert. That's how this is coming across. You're just trying to incite fear in people and anger in people. It is nuts. It's crazy. She says, this is another one. So again, May of 2024, here she is inciting all this. And I put a big star by this because apparently I wanted this to be seen. I was never going to allow a man engaged in this conduct accuse me of defamation when everything we have reported is a fact. How in the world, Katie Joy, are you going to recover from that? I was never going to allow a man engaged in this conduct accuse me of defamation when everything we have reported is a fact. Everything you've said is a fact. She's saying right there, everything I've said is a fact. Even if I go back later and say, oh, no, I didn't state that as a fact. Here she is saying everything I said is a fact. This was an Instagram post, it looks like. His own words debunked all of his claims in the lawsuit he filed against me. As a present to Robert, to add even more joy to this day for Robert, Shirley, Hannah, James, and Miranda were served with deposition notices. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Oh, yes, Robert added James and Miranda to the lawsuit. They likely have no clue that they are suing me because, well, Hannah and Shirley signed documents for them. This group is so insidious that I hope that James and Miranda wake up before these people drag them into more lawsuits they can't afford. No, Katie Joy, you want Miranda to be on your side. And when she didn't go to your side, that's when you started hating on her. That's when you started doing dirty shit like this. Well, she's been doing it for a while. She's mad that Miranda didn't take her side. And she's like, look, you're just getting caught up. You don't even know you're suing me. You think, Katie, they don't know they're suing you? Look at all the things that she stated in this one post as a fact and how defamatory all of it is. That is bad. But not only that, she says everything that she's ever reported is a fact. Chemicals are picking her brain. I mean, y'all. Did KJ get her Spanish degree at the Learning Center? It appears. She can't even speak Spanish. Have any of y'all ever heard her try to speak Spanish? Have y'all seen that clip where she tries to speak Spanish? She tries to sing this song. It is freaking hilarious. Look, I'm from Texas. It's really big in our schools here, particularly because we're right by the border, to speak Spanish. I took 3 years of it. I suck at it, and I guarantee you I speak better Spanish than Katie Joy. I can understand it better than I can speak it. I can't roll my R, so there's that big thing going on. But yeah, she can't. It's hilarious if any of y'all have not seen that. And she's talking about, so here's some more of these reels. She's telling people to contact them, right? Straight up, contact the DA. There you go, in her words. So these are different. Here, I'm going to show you. I think this is where I have the, yeah, I do. Here's an example. Okay, so this, so this is when she was doing Instagram Reels, okay? And now I'm going to post it's probably like a minute's worth. I'm going to show you examples. Now, 7M didn't include all of them in here because some of them have to do with Nick Reno, some of them have to do with maybe Hannah Shin, deal with people that aren't in a lawsuit. So, but I didn't want to clip all this out. So I just went ahead and did a clip that had the majority of the ones that had to do with what they actually have in here, okay? Did Jenny get her law degree there too? I question if she has one, if you want to know the truth. I'm just kidding. Clearly she has one. It's just not a good one. All right, so here we go. 38 seconds. This was on her stories, okay? And they were on for 24 hours. And if you know anything about Instagram and you look up at the top, hopefully I have it to where you can see it. You can see that she had done like dozens of them. I meant to tell y'all that there's no sound on it on most of it, so it's just going through, and that's what the jury's going to see. They're going to see the recording of all of Katie Joy's manic posting and rants that she did on Instagram on her Instagram Reels. Okay, that's one example. Oh, let me give you the next one. Again, it's a minute and 12 seconds. It's really just no sound, but just go ahead and see these posts. This is what a jury's going to see. Yeah, if you're just listening to this, like if you're like cleaning and listening, like someone told me, you're probably like, why? Why is it quiet? That's just screen recordings. There's no sound to it, but I wanted to include those in there so y'all could see what it is that 7M is obviously showing. Now their timing is going to be different than mine. Because they have their own recording of it. That's my recording of it that I would have recorded when she put it all up, right? So there's that. And she was just going crazy. She was manic. She was just like going nuts. And so May 30th of 2024, let's see why I wanted to highlight this. Robert says their mentors control their finances, diets, clothing, housing, allowances, and relationships. If Robert wants to break up a relationship, they will break up. If Robert wants to marry a couple, he will marry them. Wow, Katie. Robert has been known to even dictate when couples can be intimate and if they can be intimate at all. That'll be fun to talk about on the stand. God, how humiliating. I hope Miranda and James don't have to answer that question under oath. Oh my gosh. He has final say, and they all doing whatever they can to please him. They believe that Robert speaks directly for God, so please be kind. They are basically Robert's robots and have no clue they are in a cult and won't listen to anything critical out of fear of being punished by Robert. The shit she says is fact. Will Amber be able to tell the jury she's been sued multiple times for defamation? Probably not, but she'll probably try to bring that in. The judge might not allow that in, but that's we don't know yet. It could be, but I doubt it, but you never know. Sorry, y'all, my dogs are getting restless. You can hear one of them. She is just gross, isn't she, T King? She's trash. Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable how much more brazen she's gotten. How much these are just gross. It gets worse, y'all. You believe it? Well, it's about where we've upped the ante. We're about at the level of discussing that we're going to stick at. It gets a little bit worse because she goes on News Nation. Okay, so why did I do this? Let's see. May 31st of 2024. This is our YouTube video. So I didn't put any clips of any of her YouTube videos. They're all out there. I don't think she deleted any of them. Obviously, these are still there because they have the links to them, right? So in her YouTube video, she says all kinds of shit. But here I wanted to point out that the next step is to ask the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department why Robert hasn't been charged. So she's telling people, hint, hint, the next step, come on, dipshits, come on, y'all, get on it. Ask Los Angeles Sheriff's Department why Robert hasn't been charged. When is LA Sheriff's Department going to get off their hiney and charge this person? She said that during her live stream. The jury's going to be able to see that too. An Instagram story that was deleted. Same thing, the end of May of 2024. She posted something that said, do we actually believe victims? Sexual assault is either a crime or it isn't, period. It should not take a man to be a serial rapist for the police in Los Angeles to arrest a perpetrator. And again, just like I showed you the screenshots a little while ago with the silence, those screenshots, that's the same thing here. It's all these just different posts, just posts. And she said that in there. She also said, lock him up. Who gives an F? Nobody's going to remember. Like, these are things that she said in that story. Another Instagram post in June. Thank you everyone for supporting the series. So she's talking about the docuseries. June 2nd of 2024. This is another Instagram story that was deleted. And then I wanted to point this out. There will always be people that follow out of curiosity, but she hasn't gained 1 million followers. She had like 1.5 million before, and it's not 1.6, and it's not 1.6 million. However, she didn't gain 100,000. She gained a few thousand, and Robert is known to buy followers for the members to artificially inflate their numbers for brands. And again, like I was saying earlier, there's a lot of contradiction where she says things like this, that he's buying the followers, that it's all about him. And then she'll go back and say that, why he don't like to spend money. And, it's just, there's so many contradictions that she says out of her own mouth, especially regarding that. Oh yeah. Y'all are hoping that they can show the clips of KJ acknowledging and breaking her settlement with Todd Chrisley. I don't think they'll be able to bring that in. I don't, but the judge has seen it. The judge knows because I want to say 7M has provided them something where Katie says that. Nonetheless, Katie has been sued in this court. This is the third defamation lawsuit in this court. So they're familiar. But will the jury know about it? That's the other question. That's a question. And I personally think not. I could be wrong. I don't know how they do things there, or what this judge would say to that. She also said in an Instagram post, Miranda's response is not the truth. She blames her family and me for the lies in the series. Her statements are lies spun by Robert Shin. She's a plaintiff in a lawsuit against me. Miranda's statement is not written by her. Really? So she's gonna go on the stand and say, no, it was written by me? Then what? Robert won't let her watch the series. Really? So that sure is, Don't let Robert Shin win by believing this. Robert views all of us as evil. He will never acknowledge the crimes he has committed and will always attack and malign his victim. Miranda attacking her family is done by Robert, not by her. Robert wants the negative PR to stop. He wants her to still be profitable. Don't let him win. So see what she's doing? Did Banfield finally realize it was a mistake to have a YouTuber on and calling her a journalist? I think so. Did you see where maybe that's what y'all are talking about here? I don't know. I can't see up in chat. But recently she calls out Banfield for something else. She calls out Banfield in relation to the whole Epstein thing. Okay, so in the summer 2024, this is all regarding the docuseries, right? She feels like, why can't I think of the damn word? Here I am drawing a blank again. Anyways, she's thinking that because this docuseries came out, it proves that she's been right this entire time and that this is just going to be tossed. Well, as we know, clearly, this is well over a year ago. That did not happen. She's talking about how Miranda was forced to put up a statement. Miranda blames her family and me for a quote-unquote one-sided documentary. She claimed to have seen the series, but her response was obvious that she did not watch the series. She is brutal towards Miranda, and I've done several videos on that, pinpointing all of these details of things that she's done to Miranda. She did another one if you have a pastor that manipulates you into getting married, then performs the marriage privately, but you don't make the marriage legal, you are not married, period. Okay, so she's saying that their marriage is not legal. This is going to bite her in the ass big time. That's going to be a big point of contention in this lawsuit is the marriage, Miranda and James' marriage, because she has said so many times that they're not married, but they are. And they proved it in discovery. And then she took that out of discovery and showed it on her socials. Yeah, she calls herself a victim advocate, but she terrorizes all these so-called victims that she has labeled victims herself. Okay, let's see. June, I think this is still June. She says, Robert Shin is a con man. No man of God would ever harm their flock in the way he does. He is a coward, weak, and pitiful. He is a menace to society, and he needs to be arrested. And again, I probably put that there to just kind of pinpoint the idea of, she keeps saying he needs to be arrested, like, internet, do your thing. Come on. They're going to get her on that too. Again, June 6, 2024, one thing we're asking people to do. Okay, and this is TikTok. I can't tell if this was a live stream or not, but one thing we're asking people to do is to tag LAPD and the LA County District Attorney, and ask them why they haven't charged Robert Shin. Okay. June 7th, TikTok live. Okay, so all of her TikTok lives were deleted. Okay. Here's part of her TikTok live. Y'all, this is where I'm like, it just got so bad for her. This is where she really, really screwed herself from when the docuseries came out and on. So let's listen to this one. It's 23 seconds.
Well, I think one of the biggest signs with this group is the level of control that they want and their demands that you cut off your family. And that's been consistent across the board, is that they want people to cut off their families. They want to control their time. They want to control their money. They want to control their thoughts. They have to like report to their mentors all the time.
And then she said this.
I think everyone at this point is just hopeful that law enforcement will finally step in. And I think we hope that there could be some sort of criminal charges, so that those that do remain under his control can finally like extract themselves out of it. Because for the most part, I think they're so deeply in at this point that they probably won't leave unless arrests happen.
And then there's this that she said.
He's a serial rapist, okay? He's a serial rapist.
An honest question, y'all. I'm asking y'all an honest question. What is the jury going to think about that statement that she's saying as a fact? And that's just a very short clip of it. Just her smugness when she says that is crazy. This post was deleted. I wanted to highlight this. No, Robert doesn't have that many ticks, to be honest. I spoke to someone that works in law who is in the legal side of things. Okay, so this obviously was a stream that she did, live stream, whatever. I spoke to someone that works in law who is in the legal side of things in Los Angeles, and Los Angeles is just extremely bogged down. And because there's no statute of limitations on rape, those cases are not the highest priority. So yeah, the real issue here is not who has spoken to what parents, which ones in. I don't know. So here she's saying, yeah, I've spoken to people. I'm calling. I'm staying on top of it. And they're saying that they're just really busy. The real focus is, why has Robert Shin not been arrested? Why has Robert Shin not been taken to jail? Why isn't the IRS coming down on him? Why aren't the FBI people raiding him? Is it getting too late? It's getting late here. Why aren't the FBI people raiding him? She says this in June of 2024, and he was raided in July of 2025. Y'all. She says this in June, and 1 year later, he was raided. And let's just listen to that last one again, because here's where she said it, and here as well. So yeah, what I'm reading is part of her live stream that I just showed those clips to. If this is going to let me. Am I freezing here?
He's a serial rapist, okay? He's a serial rapist.
So she goes through that, right? Like there's all of that she goes through. And she's talking mad. You can tell by the tone of everything that I said. You can pause and read these comments. I have them up on the screen probably long enough for you to be able to read them too. But though that was the tone of that, and that was a TikTok live. That's when she started to go on TikTok talking about Gypsy Rose. And then every once in a while she'd bring this up. If James isn't speaking, it's because Robert said he can't speak. If Miranda's posting that she's getting threats, it's because Robert Shin has been telling her that she needs to post the video saying that she's getting threats. That's not going to go over well for a jury if they see Miranda up there crying and she's testifying under oath that is not true, that she was truly getting threats, that he didn't make her post it, that she was simply trying to plead to people, stop, leave me alone. Katie Joy Paulson, leave me alone. You're causing damage to my life. And Katie mocks her. I've done videos on it where I've got all of that mocking. It's fucking terrible, y'all. Sandy, it's insane, isn't it? Oh yeah, I have that. That's a Dashek says they had an online signature board too, collecting signatures for the LAPD raid, and that's in here as well. You know, like whenever I was showing the Instagram post reels or stories or whatever, they had that one on there. That was exposing 7M and Stop Culting that put together that petition. My dog just sneezed. Bless you, baby. Here she talks about how she was an archival consultant. So this is her YouTube video that she did on June 17th. She did a YouTube video and she talks about, I served as an archival consultant and I was instrumental in helping to provide archives of records, whether it be videos, legal records, posts, reporting, or whatever they needed from a journalistic standpoint to help them put together the story. Because I was the person that broke the story in March of 2022. Okay, let's remember that. Because I was the person that broke the story in March of 2022, my archives were very extensive. My list of contacts with sources was also very extensive. Yet, in one of her declarations within this case, she denies that. She says that she got the story from other outlets and other resources, that other outlets had started talking about it first. So that's not going to go over well. KJ2 Colts Yuck said they helped and was, yeah, they were all in it together, but they were the ones really promoting it. Or did Katie do a separate one? I don't think Katie did a separate one. Colts Yuck said that they helped and was taking the lead because she had experience getting raised. Yeah, okay, see, yeah, exactly. Right, Dash? I mean, I don't talk about them here because it's just, Katie, talking about Katie is enough, but those women, I have a lot to say, but I'm just not going to say it because we got enough to talk about here. Police are not doing their due diligence. Okay, this is on her YouTube video that is still up on her channel that people can still see. She doesn't get the views on her YouTube stuff regarding 7M like she does on all of her other content, which is a good thing for that, Police are not doing their due diligence. People around Robert are protecting him because they may fear retaliation or blackmail by Robert. So, bold statements. See how bold she's getting? June 2024, this was an Instagram post. No, this was an Instagram live. I might be broke. I might have broken the story back in 2022, but the series is about so much more than Katie Joy Paulson. Really, bitch? Because you sure have made it all about you. He has made people believe inside of his church that I'm trying to kill them. So it's hard to know what kind. See, now she's becoming the victim. So now she's made herself, just like she did in the whole Tati thing. See how she's turning herself into the victim. And this is when we start seeing about, oh my gosh, I'm a victim of Robert Shin. I was raided. I was swatted. He's got all of his people coming after me. They've doxed me. They've done all these things. They've threatened to kill my child. All of this stuff. Now she's turning herself into a victim. Because why? Because Miranda came out and said, look, stop. I'm getting threats. Katie had to insult her and say, no, she's not getting threats. Those are coming from inside. I'm the one getting the threats because I'm a journalist who's covering this dangerous situation with these dangerous people. And the dangerous people are the ones that are threatening her from within. But I am really being threatened. I have a lot to say about that too, but I'm just not going to say that today. As you can see, there's a lot. Police are not oh, that's backwards. Another thing, he abuses everyone. I don't feel like there's any person that he doesn't abuse. He will abuse anyone and everyone. Robert, I honestly believe that he's a psychopath. Wow. They say that there's a difference between like a sociopath and a psychopath and a narcissist. And really, one of those differences is the criminality aspect. And an individual that fleeces and flouts, am I reading that right? That fleeces and flouts the law and continues to break the law regardless of consequence and generally has no regard for the law is not just a narcissist, but he's like a psychopath. Do you remember when she did a stream about another creator saying, I hate how she diagnoses everybody as a psychopath or a sociopath or a narcissist. Yeah, okay. I did a video on that too. So now we're still June of 2024. All these Instagram things, again, it's going to be the same thing as Instagram story, but one of them, the longer men remain in the cult, they become accomplices to Robert. Many know their wives are being abused and don't care, or they help Robert. That is a huge accusation there, because there's only a couple, there's only so many men in the cult, quote unquote cult, right? Robert also allegedly passes off women to the guys. So now she's implying, or people would take it as, that they're passing Miranda around. Again, rage bait much? Let's incite a bunch of rage. Allegedly, this is why he's being sued for ex trafficking. Yeah, right. God, y'all, but you see how amazing this this version, that this amended complaint, how amazing this is. And as we read it, and look, I'm only reading, like, I've only read out loud so much of this, such a small percentage. If you really read it, you see how bad it is for her. I think this is really bad for her. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. That's just my opinion. I think she's totally screwed, y'all. Name calling shows she's lost. Right? That's a good point. She's being labor trafficked. Do you really think that she has a choice? Robert coerces, manipulates, threatens, and has allegedly had people beaten when they try to leave. One of those people is suing his wife for the beating. And she's talking about Priscilla there. His wife is also Miranda's mentor. So again, if Priscilla got beat up by Hannah, and Hannah was her mentor, well, then surely Miranda is going through the same thing. These were all Instagram stories. Jury's going to see it. Read them all. Here's another one. This is in July 4th. She was busy on the 4th of July. I remember that. Who the fuck is she? Let's say something awful did happen. That's Miranda's story to tell, if she ever wants to. Thank you, Bean. I know. I guarantee you there's a lot more we don't know, and there's going to be a lot of things seen in the trial that we probably haven't seen, that show the horrible things that Miranda went through, and James, that the two of them received, or whatever it may be, threats, etc. Look at this Instagram story deleted, and then it says Robert always deletes evidence, always, but it's in her stories that are deleted. Again, they're going to see all the stuff that was posted. Let me see why I highlighted this. Robert is 66 years old and he won't live forever, so he will eventually either go to prison or die. Miranda will have to decide what she is going to do, and this point, I'm sure she's being harassed and shamed by her mentor for the documentary. So she's saying, look, this pissed me off. Let me finish reading it. At this point, I'm sure she's being harassed and shamed by her mentor for the documentary. And in the post just before that, she said, implying that she's getting her ass whooped by her mentor. So now she's being harassed and shamed and getting her ass kicked by her mentor for the documentary. Former members said in 2022, women we told to scream their prayers to Miranda. Miranda would get rebuked and screamed at her during Bible studies by her mentor. I'm sure life is not pretty for her now. You're responsible for that, you stupid bitch. You are part of that problem. So you're sitting here like, oh, I bet you she's getting all kinds of trouble by her mentor. You knew that was going to happen. You didn't give two shits about doing what you did, because it's all about clicks and views and lying in your own stupid ass pockets. God, I hate this woman, y'all. She's sitting here like, oh, she's going to get hurt, all this stuff because of the docuseries. But yeah, guess what? We're going to do it anyways. We're putting it out anyways, knowing this was not the answer. Knowing this was not what was going to bring Miranda out of this. It would, if anything, it was going to push her further in. If it was a cult, all they were doing was pushing her back in. Woo, sorry, I got a little heated there, y'all. Pisses me off. We're still in 2024. What is this? August of 2024. This was a TikTok live that she did. And she said within there, Robert Shin is suing me. I was going to do more clips from these TikTok lives. Oh, I did. Hold on. There are 2 more still. Robert Shin is suing me. Yes, he's been suing me for 2 years, but it's nothing to worry about. Robert filed so many frivolous lawsuits as a part of the docuseries. So there's really nothing. Everything he's suing me for was admitted in the series. See, she thinks that it was admitted in the series. So she's fine, y'all. She's totally fine. And that's why she was doing all this. That's why she was going crazy. She was just saying all these things, knowing or thinking that, well, in her mind, she thought that the docuseries was out. So I still can't think of the word I'm looking for. So she's off the hook type thing. It basically proves that she was right. So she did a lot on TikTok. The jury's going to see it all. They're going to see this video. They're going to see this one here. This one was like in July. Here we are on August 23rd. So let me play what she said here. And again, I want to thank Llama Girl because a lot of these I was able to just get from Llama Girl. Luckily, Llama Girl she doesn't follow Katie Joy anymore. She doesn't do. She doesn't record all of her stuff like she did so diligently before. Thank goodness we have all that. People have all that because that means 7M has it. They were able to go back, so to speak, like in archives and get them. They're not really archives because they're on her channel, but they were able to go back in time and get them, right? But thank goodness for Llama Girl. So I just want to say that if y'all are on Twitter, I can't call it X. If y'all are on X, Llama Girl's on there. You can always go back and pull up old things from there. Here's something she said on August 23rd.
Robert and Miranda could not define that being in a cult was actual defamation. In fact, Robert stated that being in a cult, or if that something was a cult, was actually an opinion. Miranda classified cult as a cult is just a culture and many other things. When asked about defaming statements that I made, not one of them could name a single defamatory statement that I made that caused any damages whatsoever to them. There is really no basis for this case to move forward at all at this point. We have evidence in place from the court's prior finding that the plaintiffs need to meet the heightened standard for defamation because they are all public figures, to the fact that none of the plaintiffs have ever been able to describe the damages they are seeking to have this case move forward to trial. They have not provided any evidence whatsoever in discovery that we caused any damages.
Yeah, she was talking about our depositions there, which are not public. Now, and it's a good that you said this right now, Susie, because Katie Joy wants to have, and that's what the judge still has to rule on. We're still waiting on that ruling, right? From the hearing on December 31st. And one is she wants to have their depositions public. Why? Probably because she did all this shit and put it out, and she wants to put it out and humiliate them further, whatever it may be. She didn't have a very strong argument. We'll see what the judge says. She also wants to have the attorney's eyes only stipulation taken off of discovery. Just my opinion, I don't see that happening either. But we still have to wait on that ruling. So it's possible, whatever. I don't want to say which way it's going to go. I know which way I think it's going to go. So we're still waiting on that. And here she is talking about their depositions, and they are not public record. They're not public. You cannot get this. And she's saying all these things. She said, and here's what else she said. And this is the last clip that I have. It's 48 seconds.
And let me to say this mildly. Miranda James and Robert Shin's testimony in their depositions was disastrous. 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 Under oath, Miranda lied. Under the penalty of perjury, Miranda Derrick lied that she was not a member of Shekinah Church. Under the penalty of perjury, James Derrick lied that he was not a member of Shekinah Church. The day before, in sworn testimony, Robert Shin testified that both James and Miranda were members of his church. Miranda and James Derrick continue to lie to friends and to family that they are not members of this church when they are.
Y'all, as a juror, put yourself in the shoes of being a juror in this case. And you heard that. You saw that. You get to see the whole thing. Now that, she never showed her face. That whole day, she didn't show her face. You know why? Because she's so scared of Robert. That was kind of her thing. It was because her eyebrow was all fucked up. Whatever her excuse is, that's what she said. This is what, she's going to die on this hill, y'all. And it's not going to work. As a juror, if I were to put myself in a juror's shoes and you're seeing that and listening to that and hearing her voice and her conviction in this, her smug, smart ass tone, because she's going to come across completely different on the stand. She's going to come across monotone and, it's going to they're going to see the difference. This is not good for her at all. Do y'all see why I'm like, man, this is bad. This is bad. This is bad. How does KJ know the members of Shekinah Church? She doesn't. She doesn't, Susie. She doesn't. Maybe the jury's going to ask her that question. Katie Joy, can you list us all the members of Shekinah Church, please? Oh, you can't? Why? Because you don't know? Oh, imagine that. I know. See, Sandy, that's the thing. All the idiots in her comment section believe it. They're all like, good for you. Good job. Congratulations, Katie. Way to go. You won. You won. That's another thing the jury is going to see. We've been skipping over it all. It's all in here about how she talked about how she's won this case several times, how the judge didn't do their due diligence. I think we're going to get into that here just a bit. I'm going to have to start winding it down because I'm just getting tired. I've been on here almost 3 hours. That is hard to believe. I've been on here almost 3 hours yapping away. So where we're at right now with these comments, with these statements that she made, we're in June of 2025 still. Speaking of, looky there, y'all. We just said it. She says in this post, I'm sorry. This is our YouTube video. This is the title. I also won when the judge refused to rule. Oh, no, she put this in her description or something. Her YouTube video, June 24th. And it says, I also won when the judge refused to rule a summary judgment against me. This means I won't have to pay $10 million to Robert Shin, Miranda, and James Derrick. And I remember that she wrote this in her description because of how she misspelled half. She, instead of have, I won't have to pay, she put I won't have, as in HALF, to pay. So that was in her description. I remember that. So she does a whole video on that. And that did not go over well with 7M. The judge has seen that. Within that video, she says, it's evidence that I'll be able to use if we go to trial. We have dozens of clips like this of things where he, in his own words, is confirming our reporting. And this one of these last filings, 7M is like, wait, what evidence do you have that you have not given us in discovery? What evidence do you have that you're telling your people you're going to win in this trial with that you haven't provided in discovery? What is this evidence? Huh? That didn't go well. They don't support Miranda suing me. Okay, she's talking about Miranda's family here. They don't support Miranda suing me because they know that this lawsuit is frivolous and baseless. And they know that he has filed so much at the judge to confuse them. And he's just trying to get anything to stick. Basically calling the judge a complete dumbass. Oh, look, he's just filing so much shit that you can't get your ruling right. But we will keep fighting. And today I started seeing an uptick in comments of people saying that I was going to go to trial and that I was losing my mind. Yeah, bitch, you are. And so now I need to keep, my dog keeps sneezing. And now I need to keep lying about Robert Shin. So she's saying that all these people, such as myself, probably Renelle Smith, whoever else was doing videos at this time a year ago. I'm sorry, in the summer of 2025. Is that when this was? Yeah. Blaming on everybody else. And so that's her YouTube video. She did another YouTube video on July 18th of 2025. And she says, based on how discovery went and how we didn't get anything in discovery, how he didn't provide us any evidence of damages and his deposition and just all of it, we were almost confident that there was no way that it would survive a summary judgment. And so we were shocked when the judge ruled and denied part of it and said that there were aspects of this case that needed to go to trial. And since the complaint was filed, and since even our summary judgment was filed, there's been all these new videos that have come out of audio of him saying things that all but confirm everything that I've reported. And the Netflix series literally confirms what I reported. And it was frustrating because I live in a state where there's no such thing as anti-SLAPP. No shield law for journalists. Bitch, you're not a journalist. So, whatever. Nonetheless, you're in this situation and you keep talking. And here we are, July of 2025. You're still going strong. You're still stating things as fact. You're getting it all wrong and you're putting people in danger. Dash X, what is your YouTube? I know you can't put your link in here unless you have a wrench, and I don't think I have any mods in here right now. So if you can just give them a way to get to your channel, like the key aspects that they'd be able to find your channel, feel free to do that, please. I know that I've had it in the past put in chat. I need to keep it on hand so I can put it in chat in a situation like this where I don't have any mods in here. It's a day to day. I knew that there's not going to be much going on in chat that I would need mods. Talking about Katie Joy. When I was talking about the things I went live last time, yeah, there was a lot of arguments. There was a lot of disagreements in chat, but not today. Again, so now where she talks about how the judge has gotten it all wrong. If you want to know how a narcissist gets win in court, it's because they confuse the judge. They overwhelm them with information. They overwhelm the complaint. They get rulings that are awesome because they confuse the judge. They confuse the judges, and sometimes judges admit that they got it wrong. So hopefully in this case, we can figure out how to get rid of these final claims and be done with this case for good, because this case and this lawsuit has always been frivolous from day one. You think the judge liked that? Do you think that's going to go over well? Do you think a jury's going to appreciate that? Because this was July of 2025, and this is going to trial, and the judge did not go back on what they said. They stuck with what they said, and in fact, not only sticking with what they said, they made it better for 7M by saying, yeah, go ahead and amend your complaint and make it more clear as to what the statements are that you find defamatory, because I need to, as a judge, know as well. So screw you, Katie Joy. I'm saying that, not the judge. July 25th. We're at July 25th now. This is when Robert Shin was raided. There. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Dash. Okay, do you still do stuff on MGL, Dash? Yeah, I need to get with you about some of the hearing notes. So July 25th is whenever the raid occurred. We've talked extensively about that. She does all kinds of shit, all these posts. She says things. I'm kind of hurrying now, which maybe we should stop it and I could pick up on this, but I don't even know when I can go live again. So we're just going to get through it. I'm going to give myself another 15 minutes. On her YouTube on July 25th, the day they were raided, of course, she went and she's like, I've been over on my Instagram. If you're not following me over there, make sure that you do. But there's a developing and breaking story, and it has to do with Robert Shin. Well, it looks like the civil stuff is about to just get thrown out because Robert Shin, she's talking about her case here. She's basically saying, looks like my civil situation is just going to be tossed out the window because Robert Shin and his entire church / cult is currently under investigation by the FBI, and his property was raided this morning. So now she goes even harder. You think it was bad before, it gets worse now. He's also accused of money laundering, tax evasion, mail fraud, and this specific search warrant also includes trafficking that involves women. Look, for her to say in this video that she knows what the specific search warrant is about, that's going to bite her in the ass. No one knows. Anybody outside of that, out of law enforcement, out of Robert Shin, his attorneys, whatnot, nobody knows what the specific search warrant was. That's going to bite her in the ass. That's not going to go well for her. And all of these individuals, including Miranda Derrick, who is still in the cult to this day, all of them are being trafficked for labor and or intimate, non-consensual contact with Robert or other men in the group. Y'all, she said that. She said this right effing here in a YouTube video on the day that he was raided, because she was convinced, she was certain that he was going to be arrested. That this is it, this is done, he's going to be arrested. I'm cleared. This all goes away. Didn't happen. We'll have to talk about that on another one. Here she's talking about their depositions and lawsuit again, talking about all their depositions. Okay. She goes on and on about this. I reported on the dozens of women and men who say he trafficked and abused them. Ex-trafficking carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. So she's going on and on, posting on all of her socials about this. You can pause and read this. Here's all they wanted to include the hashtags, because see, there's some on trafficking here. After the judge said, knock it off with the hashtags, because that we're going to consider that as being a whole. So if you hashtag and it has nothing to do with the post, let's say you're talking about puppies and kittens in the post, but then you hashtag Robert Shin, hashtag trafficking, whatever it may be, we're going to consider that you're making that post about Robert Shin and trafficking. And so that's what's happening here. They're reiterating that, yep, she went back to putting those hashtags. This is not good for Katie Joy at all, y'all. She's so screwed, I think. Robert Shin and his followers, Miranda and James Derrick, sued me for allegedly defaming them by reporting that they weren't legally married. But, okay, so now she's all high and mighty again. The judge has already made it very clear that what she said about their marriage was a no-go, right? That they, and 7M made it very clear to the court that Katie Joy put document that she got from Discovery regarding their marriage license, their certificate, she put it on her social media. But now it doesn't matter, because she's convinced, because it's the day after the raid, that she is, completely exonerated in this. Everything is going in her favor. And so she says that they sued me for that and defaming them by reporting that they weren't legally married. But based on public records and multiple sources, when our reporting initially began, they weren't. So now she's going back. She's doubling down to, I said what I said. I meant what I said. They weren't married. That is not going to go over well, y'all. Just my opinion. Don't think it will. All of this is my opinion. Everything I said is my opinion. Shirley Kim filed what appears to be a questionable marriage license in Los Angeles over a year after the date the couple claims they were married. She also goes on to say that he forged tax records and their marriage license. They will absolutely 100% be able to prove that Miranda did not. And she said this in July of 2025. She said 10 toes down that they forged Miranda's marriage license for her, that somebody else signed this, that Miranda did not sign it. They will 1000% be able to prove, and I say this with all certainty, this is just my belief, but I 100% believe it without a doubt, that they will prove that is absolutely Miranda Derrick's signature. You can compare it to other things. I've been able to compare it to other things. That is Miranda Derrick's signature, in my opinion, and that is not going to go over well for her. Again, all of this, July 2025, right after the raid, on and on and on, going crazy. And don't forget, she goes on News Nation. On Instagram, she says, for the past 3 years, we've fought tirelessly in court to expose the truth about Robert Shin. In that time, we've gathered powerful evidence, stories, documents, and receipts that may now help bring justice. Oh, really? What is all of that? Do you care to show that to this court? That's going to hurt her too. Yeah, she feels that the raid vindicated her. Absolutely. Is that the word? Is that the word I'm looking for? Vindicate? That is the word. You're my hero. I've only been searching for that word for 3 hours now. I've been jabbing my jaws. Yep. She feels First, it was the docuseries vindicated her. Now it's the raid. She's a total idiot, y'all. So then she goes on News Nation. They've got the entire recording of it, and they've got the transcript for it. This is what is this the news? No, this is YouTube. This is a YouTube video where she's still talking about it. It's ridiculous, y'all. Instagram story deleted. Just now she's going after a possible sponsorship that she would have had with Drink Prime. So she's like, screw everything that they've told me that, I don't need to do. I'm doing it. She doubled down. Y'all, this is so bad for her because the jury's going to see a pattern here, right? They're going to see that number one, she doesn't give a shit. She doesn't care. You think Banfield got a cease and desist from 7M? It could have happened, but I don't think they would listen to it. But it's I've thought that too. I'm not going to lie. I think they realize it's a no-go story, that it's not got them no views. Really, it's not necessarily any facts behind it. There's no fact driven behind it. It's a one-sided story, and I think they decided to back off of it too because of that. So, all of this, she says in an Instagram thing, it's not just dancers that are involved in this. There are invisible human beings that are being labor trafficked, trafficked. They're having their entire lives controlled. He is dangerous. She says this in a video. It's not just dancers, y'all. They're invisible human beings. There's invisible human beings. So I'm going to end this here. She ends up doing she ends up going on News Nation. First of all, talking about the raid. Okay. They've got all the information on that. Feel free to pause all this. What is this? Hold on. Is this while she was on there, or is this YouTube? This is YouTube. And for the first time, we're finally again getting the mainstream news to tell the story in a way where they're not trying to guess. Oh, that's why I did this. While they're okay. So she knows that she's going to go on Banfield, right? And she says, finally, or maybe she did. She's like, finally, for the first time, we're finally getting someone in mainstream news to tell the story in a way where they're not trying to guess what the story is about, but instead they are going to the people that know, aka Katie Joy Paulson. Look, y'all, mainstream's getting it right. They're going to Katie Joy for all the details now. Finally, they're listening. My prayers have been answered. She's like, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. And I'd like to show you the full segment of my piece with News Nation. Okay, so at this point, she'd already gone on News Nation. She had talked about it. Banfield had to correct her. The jury's going to see the whole interview. They're going to see how she was stating everything as a fact and how Banfield herself had to say, wait, this is all alleged. More Instagram stories that were deleted, that she's going on and on about this. And then it comes down to where Miranda and James, as Katie said, deleted their social media. And because of that, they need to be held accountable because they're going against the court order by deleting it. And they need it. And that's why she's filing sanctions, saying that they deleted evidence and that's sanctionable. And then she goes on Banfield again to talk about them deleting their social media. Invisible people only whisper. So, y'all, this whole thing where Katie's like, it's okay to come home, go to your family, no one's going to be mad at you. Look, they're adults. You push them further into something, which, whether it be good or bad, it doesn't matter. They've chosen not to come back because of this situation. Miranda was already going back to see her family. She was spending time with her family. She, all the things, right? She was there. Then the docuseries came out. How would you ever trust your family again, knowing that they were on that side of it? And now you're going to say it's okay to go back to them. Number one, they're adults. It's not your place to say that. Okay. I know you're antsy. We're gonna go outside in just a bit. My dogs, y'all, they're just looking at me like, what are you doing and who are you talking to? You've been talking for 3 straight hours. So then she goes on Banfield again. Same thing happens. Is this on News Nation where she says this? She's on Instagram. She's talking about how she hopes the judge throws out this case against her, and her exact words were, and I hope the judge throws out his case against me. Because what she's saying is, I know, baby, go lay down. What she's saying is, look, they've been raided. They're deleting stuff. This judge is going to throw this out. This is not good for her, y'all. Look how detailed this is. All her Instagram stuff. She says, in Minnesota court, Robert's attorneys falsely accused me of claiming Robert had been arrested, faked outrage over my coverage of the raid, and blamed me for Miranda and James deleting their social media. And now I need your help. She's still going hard. In September, just this past September, still going hard. I need your help. We are desperate for more exposure. We need to keep up the pressure because we are worried about Miranda and James. No, bitch, you're worried about your lawsuit. You need the help because you know that this is not going away. You need the help because this is going nowhere. So 212 statements. This is the last one right here that they included in this. I'm going to call it, we're just going to say proposed. Y'all, I've never been on a live this long. Like, I cannot even think. What is this that we're even looking at? What is this that we're even looking at? Well, here it is. This is the end of it. 212 statements now versus 80 something that were in the initial complaint. The initial complaint was 20 something pages. This amended complaint is 89 pages at 212 statements. Go ahead and read this. You can pause right there. So I'm going to go over one last thing and we're done. All of this is identical to the original amended complaint that was amended on April 7th of 2022. All of this is the same. Count 1 is defamation. That's the same. Count 2, defamation per se. That's the same. Count 3, and again, if you want to pause and just remember what they're saying about it. Count 3, tortious interference of contract. Count 4, commercial defamation. They have, and then it's all the examples for commercial defamation. Defendants knew or should have recognized that third parties would act in reliance of the statements, causing plaintiffs financial harm. They've taken out count 5. Count 5 was, let me look it up because I'm telling you, I'm brain dead. I want to make sure that I don't say it wrong so people critique me. Count 5 was intentional infliction of emotional distress. They took that out. They abandoned that. So there is no count 5. Count 6, negligence per se. Count 7, deceptive trade practices. Count 8, intentional interference with prospective advantage. They've never had a count 9. The judge pointed that out in one of the orders, but they didn't amend that here. They didn't correct that here and make what is count 10 here, injunctive relief, make that count 9. But there were 9 original counts. So now there are 8. And there you have it, y'all. Jury demand, request for relief. They're saying that here. Let me see if I go up here, I can find it. Like here's one. They obviously say it over and over. As directed and proximate result of defendants' false and defamatory statements, plaintiffs have suffered damages in an amount to be proven at trial, but reasonably believed to exceed $1 million. So they're seeking at least $1 million. They're saying that this is to be determined at court whenever they start putting all their, financial stuff out, when the jury gets to determine what Miranda and James would have lost in income, what they, from losing brand deals, from having to delete their social media and not get that monthly income. Katie Joy has screwed them. Katie Joy has caused them so much damage. It is unreal. It's not just Katie Joy, clearly. Now my other dog's coughing. It's not Katie Joy completely or solely, right? But we know how much damage she has done. I firmly believe that Amber Stavig is going to be able to prove that, or else she wouldn't be saying these things. Amber Stavig's too smart, y'all. I have total faith in her. So what we're looking for now is a ruling from the December 31st hearing. We're going to see if this judge grants sanctions to either part. I don't see that happening. That's just me. I could be totally wrong. Who knows? Katie Joy wants the attorney's eyes only stipulation removed on discovery, and she also wants she wants them to be held accountable for deleting evidence, and she wants the depositions to be made public. I don't want puppies. I have 4 dogs in here with me right now. 3 big dogs and a little one. My little one's next to me. I've been here for 3 hours. They've done really good, haven't they? Here, I'll show you pictures just because I can. And I have them up here, and I am tired of talking in general. Here's my Barnaby Duke. It was windy that day. Here is Barney and Bella. Oh, those are the only 2 I have. I know, I just called your name. I'm sorry. He came running over like, what we can do? We can go play ball. So we're waiting for that ruling, and we are waiting to see what happens with this. Is this going to be granted? Is this motion to amend this? Is this amended complaint going to be, what Katie has to follow from here on out? I read the Reddit page that they are seeking a judgment in an amount equal to all sums defendant has made from the post. Yes, that was in there too. Thank you for saying that. I skipped over that. It's going to be a lot. It'll be more than $1 million. I mean, that's just for when I read that part, that was just for one of the counts. It was just one of the counts for whatever it was. Y'all, I'm seriously losing my mind strength here. But yes, they also said that they are seeking, and it was the very end of that document and the conclusion that they're seeking whatever Katie Joy has profited off of this. Yes, indeed. So thank you for saying that, Barbara Jean. Definitely. I knew this was going to be hard to get through all of this. It took me 3 hours to do it. I don't know when I'll be able to go live again. So, and then have to pick up. So I'm glad we did it. Thank you for sticking with me. This was a lot, but it was one of my most favorite things to read in this case. And as we kind of wind down, each filing seems to be my most favorite as we keep going because of things like this. This is not good for Katie Joy, in my opinion. I could be wrong so far. If we follow the trend, follow how this judge has ruled, it's not going well for her, y'all. This isn't going to end well for her. One thought I have, I'm going to end on this one thought. After seeing all of this, we do know that as we get to this, my dog's chewing on a bone, so don't mind that noise. Once we see, what the latest scheduling order is going to be, once we see that, there's going to be a part where they're going to try to have to come to an agreement again. Another type of mediation. Katie Joy's attorneys are going to be stupid if they don't say, yeah, we'll try to settle. Do I think Robert Shin's going to settle? No. Do I think Katie Joy will? No. She said that she won't. But you never know. If they see this and they see how hard this is, that this could be very hard for her to win, they might try to at least put it out there. And Katie Joy's going to say that she never did it, that it was never an option. But who knows? After seeing this, It's very clear, everything she's done. They've made this so concise, so clear. The jury is going to read every word. They're going to hear every word if this amended complaint is allowed. So, you are welcome, Sis Kate. I am done with this for the day. I'm going to go outside. It's actually beautiful here today. It's a little chilly for me, but I don't even want to say that because there are people in freezing weather, and y'all would die to be here right now probably because it's beautiful. So I'm going to end it here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for the super chats that I received today. Thank you for those of you that are members to this channel. I truly appreciate you. It allows me to keep going on with this because I do have to purchase stupid things here and there. It costs money to have to keep this channel, believe it or not a lot. So I appreciate all the support that I do get from you guys. And I'm glad you think it was fun, Dash X. I'm exhausted. I'm just kidding. So feel free to pause, read everything, go collect the documents yourself. You will see me again soon because Monday is the hearing. So we will eventually know what's going to happen. We'll eventually know what is happening with all these outstanding things that need to be ruled upon. And then eventually we will know what's going to move forward with the new scheduling order. So love to you too. Sending love to you as well, Donna. All right. I'm crazy. I'm hungry. I'm dizzy. I'm tired. My eyes hurt. So have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are at in this world. I appreciate each and every one of you. I will see you on the next one. And the outro. Thank you so much, Barbara Jean, for becoming a new member. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. We're going to get through this. I'm following this until we get through, well, wherever this ends up. If this goes to trial, if it doesn't, whatever it may be, I am sticking with it through that. So this does help, especially if there's going to be travel expenses that happen. Okay. But again, have a wonderful day. See you on the next one. The outro is the Katie Joy song. So have a great day, y'all. Enjoy your weekends. Hope you don't freeze. Talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.
It don't take a crystal ball to know how some stories end. When someone keeps saying opinions like facts, the courts start listening. Southern mutton don't predict nothing, we just watch and write it down. Don't need a crystal ball to see it coming back around. When you state it like a fact and never check it first. Southern mutton, watch it close from the courthouse ground. True, stay patient while the paper getting worse. Same routine, new headline phone. Same bold claims that the record don't want. She speak real loud, no maybe, no seems. Turn opinions into facts like the courtroom clean. I ain't wishing nothing, I just seen the signs. When the words outrun proof, it's a matter of time. Mr. Repeat, when you don't learn yet. Courts don't care what you meant, just what you said. When confidence louder than evidence be, that's when patterns start explaining things to me. Don't need a crystal ball to see it coming back around. When you speak like a verdict before the truth's found. Southern mutton in the case, boots firm on the tile. We don't chase drama, we just watch the file, yeah. Country rap calm, I don't glow to grin. I just read the docket when it rolled back in. She called it truth, call it just how it is. But courts draw lines where the talking ends. I ain't psychic, I'm observing. Facts don't bend cause a voice is urgent. From testimony tone to the written page. Same outcome when the pattern don't change. Lies like speed, truth like distance. One burns fast, one keeps existing on. Lies like speed, truth like distance. One burns fast, one keeps existing. Don't need a crystal ball, don't need belief. When the law still runs on proof and receipts. Southern mutton watching through the courtroom glass, pointing out lies as they're saying it's facts. This ain't prophecy, this ain't hate, just history watching itself repeat. When words get reckless, the courts get busy, and the truth always shows up right on time.